everybody, and welcome into the Wednesday edition of Supernatural News and Parashare right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm Timmy D. Tim Dennis. Right over there is the BCB. He's the Beer City Bruiser. How you doing, Bruiser?
I'm doing fantastic, Mr. Cruiser.
You know what? We've got a Parashare a little bit later in the program, and they stuck the landing. They just addressed us as Cruiser and Bruiser.
I love it. I've been getting emails too where they're saying that they'll say your name, Tim, but in parentheses they put Cruiser. I'm like, that's it. There it is.
That's what it is. Cruiser and the Bruiser. We have got, let's just say, a bizarre, a little bit funny, and a little bit disturbing. We'll again use the words nightmare fuel for today's program. I'm finding I absolutely love our listeners, Bruiser.
I do too.
They're sending more and more stories over to me at tim@darknessradio.com. They've got the idea, my friend. They're sending me more and more disturbing stories week after week. I think we've turned into the doom and gloom cast.
I don't know, because I try to find. I always send you the funny memes that I find, like one with the AI cars. We just put a ring of salt around them. They just drive around. So I'm like, okay, I'll send that to Tim because we like that stuff,
right? And I was gonna pull up that story, but then I've got our listeners sent like 3 or 4 stories of even more doomier and gloomier AI stories that were just like, you know what, these are so good that. The ring of salt, we can casually mention it as we, talk about these other stories, because that may just end up being the solution to warding off these other scary stories I have this week. So yes, there are AI stories this week. There's a genetic weapon story we'll lead off with this week. Believe it or not, leading UFO experts believe that we're being hoaxed by our own government about a UFO invasion. We talked about this last week. Yeah. The conspiracy is spiraling out of control, Bruiser. We'll talk about that this week. As to now, it's like Stephen Greer is on board and he's talking about it. Yeah. So that's getting a little bit deeper. Later on in the program, we'll talk about why, a lot of times when we're doing interviews and stuff like that, people say, at the 41-minute mark, I swear I heard a ghost comment on an EVP about a question you asked. And they said, no, not yet. In an EVP, and I swear, if you go listen to it, you'll hear it. And I go back and I listen to it, and I don't hear it.
Right.
We have an actual story today of an EVP on television.
Oh, I like when that happens.
Yeah.
Like not on a paranormal show, right?
No.
Just like on a regular everyday show?
Regular everyday show.
Because I've seen some clips of like a morning news anchor where paranormal stuff happens. People have sent me links to that, and I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah. This is awesome.
So I'll tell you a little bit about EVP on TV. So maybe that'll be a new segment. EVP
I like
on
that
TV.
Segment.
Yeah.
EVP on TV.
Haunted Mental Hospital in Illinois will reopen to the public this weekend. So we'll tell you a little bit about that. And our very last story today is not safe for work.
Oh, and so we got to put the earmuffs on the children.
We do. And in fact, it involves a specific line of work and something you probably shouldn't be doing at work at all. So that'll be our very last story for today. We'll just tease you with that. But first, Bruiser, we want to throw out a prayer and healing request. And I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend, because this is very specifically, it involves a member of your family. So go ahead. Prayer and healing request for
my father. We can call him Papa Bruiser. Okay. He is my father. He is the grandfather to my children. He's had health issues in the past. He's obviously been diagnosed with COPD, been living with that for a while, but some new stuff has arisen. And August 16th, he goes in for a procedure, and they're going to do some tests, and we're hoping I'd like some prayer and healing and positive energy that those tests come back, in his favor. And as a family, we're all getting close together. He, as we were saying off air, Tim, he is unmoved by it. He's one of the most positive people in the world. He is the rock of our family, I guess you could say. And he's just like, whatever the tests say, they say, we're just going to keep living life as it is. I want to be surrounded by my grandkids, my kids, my wife. And I told him, I says, Dad, I'm going to talk to Tim, and we're going to get our listeners and get a prayer and healing request out there, and I'm going to send as much positive vibes as I can here. And so he says he would appreciate that.
All right. That's what we'll do. So Papa Bruiser's out in Arizona, right?
He's in Arizona. Yep. He had moved out to Arizona shortly after he was diagnosed because there's no humidity out there.
Right.
And he actually can breathe better, and it was actually a really good move for him. And he is not a sit down, do nothing guy. So when he had to medically retire and he moved to Arizona, he was going insane. So he ended up finding that you can go to different places, and if they have broken pallets, they'll give them to you. You know, those wooden pallets that you can get?
Yeah.
So now he creates art with that. In fact, I have an American flag in my front yard and that he made. And I said, Dad, you should create an Etsy store and sell these. And here's how type of good guy. He goes, why would I sell them when I can give it to somebody and make them happy?
Oh, wow.
So he creates these American flags. He creates basically anything out of old pallets. And he just gives them away, and you go all around his community, and everybody's got something made by him, and it's really cool to see because he's had that impact on those people's lives. But yeah, he is happy as a clam right now.
That is so cool.
And my wife and I joke all the time when we see broken pallets around here. We're like, we should just ship these to your dad.
That is so cool. Well, everybody put out your thoughts, your prayers, your good energy, your good feelings for Papa Bruiser as he goes in for these tests. Let's hope for not only a good outcome, but a favorable outcome for Papa Bruiser. And not only that, but for some good healing for Papa Bruiser as well.
Yes.
So that he can recover quickly from whatever may be potentially ailing him. Again, Papa Bruiser is in Arizona, and we will put this on our social media as well so that we can get that prayer chain going and that healing, that energy chain going for Papa Bruiser. And we'll keep it going for the continuing weeks. We'll let you know how Papa Bruiser is doing so we can get behind him and get him going.
Yep. And he will appreciate all that. But again, you talking to him, you can't tell there's anything wrong. I mean, he is just a positive dude. And every day I talk to him, just checking in, and he brightens my day.
Good.
You know? Yep.
Well, it sounds like he's trying to put that positivity back out into the community too, which is good to hear as well.
He is. So. He is. I'll tell one more story about him.
Sure,
just because he's so great.
Yeah.
When COVID first started, we didn't really know what was going on, and this is before the at-home orders, but it's the mask stuff. You know, like they didn't know what was going on, but they wanted you to social distance and everything.
Right.
My dad. We went out there because he had surgery on his shoulder. And so the way my dad is, he doesn't stop, and he wasn't allowed to lift anything. So my Mrs. Bruiser and I, we flew out there for a week, knowing that if he wanted something done, we could do it for him. Well, he needed some paint for his woodwork and whatnot. So Mrs. Bruiser and him went to the hardware store. And they get home, and my wife's just shaking her head. She goes, only your father. I said, well, what's the matter? She says, only your father in a pandemic will walk around a hardware store asking people if they need help with anything. I said, what?
Aww.
She said that they were in the paint and the lady was looking for something. She couldn't find an employee. And he says, well, what are you looking for? And she's looking to do something and needs some waterproof paint or something for her thing. And my father took 20 minutes to explain the difference between the certain paints and ended up making a sale for this hardware store.
Oh, wow.
And my wife says, only your father we could be facing a global pandemic and he's still out there wanting to help people. I said, that's my dad. that's Papa Bruiser.
That's amazing. That is so cool. I mean, just to help another human being, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, that saves a lot of headache and a little bit of heartache too. I mean, especially for that one person who probably had no idea when it came to paint. I have no idea when it comes to paint. I have
no idea either.
I have to refer to somebody or refer to a specialist and get to know what I need for a specific project. And a lot of us, it's kind of disposable information. You know, it's just give me what I need so I can get through this project and get to, you know, the other side of my day.
Yeah.
But that's so cool that your dad did that. That really is.
That's just the type of person he is.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. well, folks, get out there and just take a moment of your day to send some energy to Papa Bruiser, and let's wish him well with his tests. Let's send that energy out there, and by all means, let's make sure that he gets through these tests good, and let's get some healing to him as well, and get him feeling good as well. Yes. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. Supernatural news, Bruiser. My God, we've got a little bit of nightmare fuel throughout this entire deal today.
We're just feeling those nightmares, aren't we?
Oh, and we're going to start it off with one.
So what we're saying is if people are in bed right now listening to this, they might want to wait till daytime and not falling asleep.
This may be one that this story right here will make you rethink everything you might have done as far as charting your ancestry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I am.
Have you charted your ancestry with any of the big DNA companies?
No, I want to, but Mrs. Bruiser won't let me. And her thinking behind it is so asinine, Tim. She says she doesn't want to be a snitch. I said, what do you mean? She goes, you know how they caught Golden State Killer, right?
Yeah.
I says, yeah, it was a 23andMe thing. Mm-hmm. She goes, well, I don't know my whole family, and I don't want to be the person that's responsible in case I'm related to a serial killer. I said, you know, the chances of being related, it's very slim. I want to know where we came from. And she says, nope, I'm not a snitch.
Wow.
Yep. So we have not, I want to keep working on it. I want to take them. I'm curious about my history. So, but I don't know. After the story, you're making it sound like I might not want to after the story.
Turns out Mrs. Bruiser may be the smarter of the two of you.
Well, we all knew that.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Here's the quote. You can take someone's DNA and design a weapon that can kill them.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Targeted specifically at them, huh?
Mm-hmm. House Intelligence Committee member warns people not to share health data with sites like 23andMe because it can be used to program new bioweapons to target them.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, fun stuff.
That is nightmare fuel.
It is, isn't it? A member of the U.S. House Intelligence Committee warned that bioweapons are being made that use a target's DNA to only kill that person.
Oh, that is terrifying. You could be walking with 10 people and all of a sudden...
And then, bam, you're done.
That's it.
Yep. You're done. Oh. Speaking at the Aspen Security Forum on Friday, U.S. Representative Jason Crow of Colorado warned Americans to not be so cavalier about sharing their DNA with private companies due to the coming of the new type of weapon. You can actually take someone's DNA, take, their medical profile, and you can target a biological weapon that will kill that person or take them off the battlefield or make them inoperable, Crow said. The congressman said the development of the weapons is worrisome given the popularity of DNA testing services where people willingly share their genetic mapping with businesses to gain insight on their genealogy and health.
So what you're saying is I should have my brother or sister do it instead of me.
Yes, so that they can get taken out, and you, Beer City Bruiser, are standing tall at the end.
But I still know my history. I love it.
Exactly. The quote here from Crow is that you can't have a discussion about this without talking about privacy and the protection of commercial data because expectations of privacy have degraded over the last 20 years. Young folks actually have very little expectation of privacy. That's what the polling and data shows. Crow, a former Army Ranger who served 3 tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan, continued, people will very rapidly spit into a cup and send it to 23andMe and get really interesting data about their background. And guess what? He went on to say, their DNA is now owned by a private company. It can be sold off with very little intellectual property protection or privacy protection, and we don't have legal and regulatory regimes to deal with that. I
didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like when you go in someplace and you fill stuff out, they say, well, we won't sell these to third parties. They don't do that with that, huh? I thought you had to fill something out.
They say that, and there's an agreement there in the... How should I put this? You have to, I'll just put it this way. Read your documentation carefully.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Don't do it without reading the documentation carefully.
Okay.
Don't get swept up in the, I'm going to learn where I'm from and blah, blah, blah. And just read everything maybe
read
3
it
or
to
4
see
times.
where your DNA is going.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Crow went on to say, we have to have an open and public discussion about what the protection of healthcare information, DNA information, and your data look like, because that data is actually going to be procured and collected by our adversaries for the development of these systems. 23andMe has repeatedly stated that it does not sell off customer private information, but the DNA company is one of many that has provided information to police upon request.
Okay, yes, I've known about that. Because, again, that's how they call it Golden State Killer.
Right. U.S. Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, said the U.S. rivals could use such DNA bioweapons to target food supplies on a vast scale. Ernst warned that biological weapons could be used to target specific animals that citizens, troops, or cities depend on, bringing about scarcity and food insecurity to weaken people. Food insecurity drives a lot of other insecurities around the globe, Ernst said. There's a number of ways we can look at biological weapons and the need to make sure not only are we securing human beings, but then also the food that will sustain us. Earlier this week, the Washington Examiner reported on just how easy it could be for privately owned databases to be used to develop bioweapons, such as the ones touted by Crow. The publication explained how DNA belonging to a target or the close relative of a target could be stolen and used to form a biological weapon effective against that person only. That technology could lead to highly targeted assassination programs and also could make it much harder for killers to be tracked down. Similar technology could be deployed against U.S. agriculture by designing weapons which target only a certain breed of farm animal or crop. That could plunge the country into famine and leave the U.S. on its knees in the face of hostilities from a rival like Russia or China. Army General Richard Clark, commander of the U.S. Special Operations Command, highlighted how Russia had already shot to infamy with a less sophisticated version of the same scheme. Discussing the nerve agent poisoning of former double agent Sergei Skripal in England in 2018, he said Russia is willing to use those against political opponents. They're willing to use them on their own soil, but then to go in on the soil of a NATO ally in the UK and use those. And as we go into the future, we have to be prepared for that eventuality. And I don't think we talk about it as much as we should and look for methods to continue to combat. Skripal and his daughter Yulia were poisoned with the nerve agent Novichok in the English town of Salisbury and almost died from their injuries. Britain's then Prime Minister Theresa May blamed Russia for the outrage days later. Last year, U.S. Senator Marco Rubio sounded the alarm that Russia and Chinese labs were processing the DNA tests of Americans through Medicare and Medicaid. It's ridiculous that our current policies enable the Chinese Communist Party to access Americans' genomic data, Rubio said in a statement. There's absolutely no reason that Beijing, which routinely seeks to undermine U.S. national security, should be handed the genomic data of American citizens. Well, here's the question I have to bring up.
Okay.
You know where 90% of our medications are made?
Overseas, aren't they?
They're made in China.
Yeah.
I mean, all the formulaic medications are made in China because it's cheaper.
So if they wanted to do something to us, they could.
Yeah.
It's as simple as putting something in everyday Tylenol.
I mean, it's no secret that if China really wanted to cripple us, they'd cripple us through our prescription medications.
Yeah.
They just stop sending them.
Biological warfare is just terrifying on its own because you can't see it coming. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. They could, as simple as put a poison in Advil, and you have a headache. You get home, you pop the ad. Well, you have no idea that poison's in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's terrifying to me.
Yeah.
At least if like someone approaches you with a gun, you can see the gun like, okay, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do this. But biological warfare is terrifying.
It is, very much so. In 2018, Ancestry, 23andMe, Habit, Helix, and MyHeritage all signed on to the policy drafted with the help of the Future of Privacy Forum, a nonprofit in support of advancing responsible data practices in support of emerging technologies. This according to Gizmodo. The guidelines titled Privacy Best Practices for Consumer Genetic Testing Services and released on Tuesday deal with scenarios where users' personally identifiable and anonymous genetic information might be shared with law enforcement without a warrant and other third parties. The new voluntary policies call for requiring separate consent from users before sharing individual level information with other businesses and more transparency about the number of requests for data received by and fulfilled for law enforcement. Well,
that's good that they're doing all that, but it just takes one disgruntled employee
true
to let that stuff leak out.
Well, and then think about it. You may have people on the inside who decide, they're going to slowly collect the DNA information from different important people.
Yep.
On the side as a side scam, and then farm it out to foreign countries as you would any spy.
This could also be a new form of blackmail if you think about it.
And then it's blackmail.
Yep.
Well, all the companies have said that they agree to these standards of practice. There is no law enforcing the rules. So there you go.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure out something. A law is going to have to be put in place. And it's going to have to be one of those global laws, too, not just an American law.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary stuff. Scary stuff. Yeah. So a little bit of nightmare fuel for you to open up the program today.
Yeah, that's...
Thinking that
is terrifying.
A biological weapon could be made just for you out of your DNA.
Yeah. That would just, it gives me heebie-jeebies thinking about that. You could just be walking along and all of a sudden you think you have a cold and then it's this and then it's this. And it turns out the Russian spy wanted to poison you or something.
It could just be sent on a microwave. You wouldn't even see it.
Yeah.
It could just be
You'd
something.
You'd have no idea.
1 minute you're sitting there and the next, boom, you're down.
And then like they said, they could target our food source. Like... You want to take out a whole bunch of people, you target their food source.
Yeah.
That's a typical apocalypse maneuver.
Yeah. Scary stuff, I tell you.
Very scary. Thank you, Tim. I love the nightmares.
Hey, well, just a little something before you go to bed. No big deal. No biggie. No biggie. The Pentagon is opening an anomaly resolution department to study UFOs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The newly created All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, will study transmedium UFOs that fly between space, the air, and under the water. This is interesting.
Yeah.
The Pentagon announced it's opening an office specifically to chase down reports of unidentified flying objects in a press release last Wednesday.
So these could truly be the Men in Black.
Could be.
Or the X-Files.
It could be that too.
Yep.
It'll be called the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, and it will work to collect and analyze various reports of UFO activity from across America's various federal agencies. The mission of the AARO will be to synchronize efforts across the Department of Defense and with other U.S. federal departments and agencies to detect, identify, and attribute objects of interest in, on, or near military installations, operating areas, training areas, special use airspace, and other areas of interest, and as necessary to mitigate any associated threats to safety of operations and national security, the press release explained. This includes anomalous, unidentified space, airborne, submerged, and transmedium objects. It's interesting that they say transmedium objects.
Yeah, what is that? What is a transmedium object? I'm not familiar with that term.
Transmedium object to me means that they're looking for life after death.
Okay. I get that then, yeah.
They're expanding their They're expanding their reach, not just from aliens, but they're also looking for the answer to life after death.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
So it really is the X-Files.
It really is.
Yeah.
The new office is the result of various disclosures of unidentified aerial phenomena. There we go. By the DoD after lobbying and leaks from groups like Tom DeLonge's To the Stars Academy. Credible witnesses include Navy pilots have come forward and described their experiences with UFOs. One recent Navy video leaked by a UFO enthusiast and confirmed by the Pentagon showed a UFO apparently disappearing into the water, which may explain the new office's focus on transmedium objects. Oh, they're saying transmedium objects are objects that flit between space, the air, and under the water.
Okay, so they can just travel from basically space through the atmosphere, through Earth's.
I got it wrong. I thought they meant life after death. They're saying that,
I like yours. Yeah, yours explained better.
Yeah, they're saying between space, air, and under the water. Under pressure from Congress and the public, the Pentagon's Director of National Intelligence released a 9-page report on the phenomena. In June of 2021, the report looked at more than 100 sightings and came to a few conclusions, explaining UAP will require analytic collection and resource investment. The DNI said in its report. A year later, it seems Congress has agreed to make that resource investment. The National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal 2022 included a provision to establish the AARO. It will be headed by the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security and run by Dr. Sean M. Kirkpatrick, the chief scientist at the Defense Intelligence Agency's Missile and Space Intelligence Center. Interesting.
It's a good choice.
Yeah. According to a Pentagon-provided biography of Kirkpatrick, he did his PhD work in nonlinear and non-equilibrium phonon dynamics of rare earth doped fluoride crystals. Wow.
Oh, okay. I think that's a fancy way of looking at space plants.
I'm not quite sure. And started working for the Pentagon right out of graduate school. He built and studied lasers for the Navy, nanofabrication techniques for the Air Force, and worked for both the DIA and CIA. Now he's the guy who will run the office investigating UFOs for the Pentagon. According to the Pentagon press release, this will mean 6 things. AARO will act along these primary lines of effort: surveillance, collection, and reporting, system capabilities and design, intelligence operations and analysis, mitigation and defeat, governance, science, and technology. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. So there you go. That's that story there. On the flip side of this, Bruiser, there are scientists out there that are warning, and UFO experts that are warning of a fake alien invasion to achieve a new world order.
Oh, I remember this story.
Now, we covered this a week or two ago.
Yeah, because this is where you and I were saying they're projecting holographs up in the sky.
Right. And they're doing everything they can. They're saying these UFO experts are saying, well, now come on, they're making this a little too obvious in the videos, and they're getting ready to set us up for this big fake alien invasion so that they can start the new world order, right?
Right.
Well, it turns out that if you listen to experts before making up your mind here and check out the Washington Post coverage of some of the technology that can make it happen, you might think, well, maybe there's a little bit of this that might make a little bit of sense.
Well, if they can make Tupac appear on stage, I'm sure they can make a UFO appear in the sky, you think, right?
Yeah, but then you go, nah, that's a little bit of a stretch, until you get some of these experts that jump in and go, wait a minute, no, this might have some legs. Dr. Stephen Greer of Serious Disclosure jumps on board and says one of the best known researchers who speaks publicly about a cosmic false flag event is actually Dr. Stephen Greer of Serious Disclosure, an organization dedicated to unveiling the truth about real extraterrestrials, as well as organized human hoaxes intended to trick the masses. According to Dr. Greer, many but not all of the so-called UFO events being witnessed around the world involve craft that are manufactured by humans. He furthermore asserts that the military-industrial complex consists of a power structure far beyond the reach of even the U.S. president, and that such interests are planning a cosmic false flag event to trick humanity into thinking an alien invasion is taking place.
And you brought it up last time you read this story. That's a lot of people that have to keep their mouths shut.
That's true. That's true. He claims that a global power structure will pursue the radical depopulation of the planet in the very near future via a scripted Armageddon.
Oh, they're going to actually script it out, like hire writers. See, can it happen? Yes. But I'm on the lines like you said. That's a lot of people that got to keep their mouths shut.
Yeah.
If it's a hoax. Like when people say the moon landing was a hoax. Okay, not saying it's not, but that's a lot of people that got to keep their mouths shut. And as humans, we can use, we like to talk. We like to share our achievements. And especially if we get mad, we don't mind being a whistleblower,
That's true. It's very true. According to Dr. Greer, if people across the planet become too awakened and start to challenge the status quo power structure, an alien invasion will be staged through the development of convincing alien aircraft that have actually been developed, tested, and perfected by secretive weapons companies like Northrop, Grumman, and Boeing. With the help of the fake stream media, as he calls it, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, and other prostitutes. I love his language here. Any narrative can be pushed as fact, he says. Now that a mass global awakening accelerating by the day, the staging of this cosmic false flag seems imminent, warn researchers. If someone tries to stage an event, we're all going to call it out as the hoax that it is and not go along with what I'm calling scripted Armageddon, says Greer. He explains that the cosmic false flag may be the cover story to engage in a partial extermination of humanity. They would love to see a shutdown of our civilization and the extermination of about 5 billion people through a conflict that they will stage, and they will manufacture Armageddon. He's claiming that the technology also already exists to carry out a massive fake alien attack. He says the Washington Post even ran a story in 1999 detailing how the U.S. military planned to stage an appearance of God in Iraq in order to make the people there fall into line.
Oh, geez. Here's the thing that really scares me about this is, yeah, we have all this technology and stuff, but what happens if a real invasion happens? Because these people put doubt in our minds, we're not going to believe it. You know what I mean? Once there's doubt there,
yeah, well,
we're right away going to go, oh, that's fake. But what if it's a real attack? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was just
terrifying.
Yeah.
What happens if the aliens at that point in time
are real
and do it?
Yeah,
but we all believe it's this hoax because we've read all these reports and there's this technology. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing about being
terrifying.
That's the thing about being too cynical. And
yes, exactly.
We've become a cynical society because so many things can be photoshopped and so many things can be faked online. We've become so cynical that we don't believe the truth when it sits in front of our eyes.
Right.
Let me go on with this story here. It says that the Washington Post story, which also describes how the military was able to perfectly fake the voice of any person saying anything that they wanted. The technology already existed in 1999. Now it's 18 years later, and they're imagining the applications of a cosmic false flag. The false flag alien attack could also be augmented, other experts say, by present-day audio projection technology that can literally project full human speech and other sounds into the heads of large groups of people. It's called radio frequency hearing effect. They used it on a billboard for Paranormal State. When Paranormal State first came out, people were hearing voices from this billboard, and it was the voice of ghosts.
Really?
Yep. It was one of the marketing campaigns of A&E.
So when you looked at the billboard, you heard these
these
voices?
ghostly whispers.
Really?
Yep. It was,
Okay.
they used the technology in that. The most dangerous thing going on the planet today isn't ISIS. It's not Iraq. It's not Russia. It's not China, says the quote. It's an out-of-control covert group that is not being overseen by the people, the Congress, or the president who have developed these technologies and are recklessly using them to track and target extraterrestrial vehicles, once said Greer. Former Canadian Minister of Defense Paul Hellyer also shared his own warning. He said that he warned about the deep state power of corporations, intelligence agencies, the U.S. military, and weapons manufacturers. He said their collective power is incalculable. That's a big word. And it is their plan in an empire greater in size and power than any empire before it. They call this the New World Order, and not the Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash New World Order.
When you're the NWO, you're the NWO
for life. Yeah. It will end all government pretense of government of, by, and for the people. It will be a dictatorship, Hellyer said, of the privileged elite, and not the elite from AEW.
Not the, okay.
Watch his warning here, where he also describes the cosmic flag. You won't be able to see it because it's radio. It just goes on to say if any of these warnings are true, we're all in Dutch. So there you go. Paul Hellyer and Stephen Greer saying that they think that there's a false flag operation going on.
Yeah, to create this new world order.
To create the new world order. Just a couple of stories before we take our break. Meanwhile, Bruiser.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice,
the Army's been busy this week as they found evidence of the abominable snowman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, abominable snowman is basically the cousin to Bigfoot, correct? And the Yeti? Isn't Bigfoot the American version, the Yeti's the Russian, and the abominable snowman is Siberia or something like that, right? And then how it all factors in?
This was in the Himalayas.
Yeah, Himalayas. That's what I meant.
Yeah. I believe so. Let us read and find out.
Yes.
The abominable snowman has long been rumored to be lurking high in mountain ranges. One group of Army soldiers found footprints they believe belonged to a Yeti, but they were mocked over their claims. Army soldiers were once mocked over claims that they had found one of Earth's most sought-after creatures, the giant Yeti, also known as the abominable snowman. Soldiers in India claim to have found footprints of the beast, a trail leading off into the snow at the Makalu base camp in the Himalayas. The Indian Army released an official statement in April of 2019 and described an elusive snowman. They said for the first time, an Indian Army mountaineering expedition team has sighted mysterious footprints of the mythical beast Yeti, measuring 32 by 15 inches.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's big.
Big.
Close to Makalu Base Camp on April 9th of 2019. The elusive snowman has only been sighted at Makalu Barun National Park in the past. Some taunted the statement, responding with pictures of footprints claiming to belong to Bigfoot, while others were less than impressed. One person said, "Really hope this is a joke. This is supposed to be a smart and intelligent force." The idea of a fearsome and giant ape-like creature has long crept into the world of common myths and legends, but there is no evidence such a creature exists. Some scientists think the animal rumored to be lurking in the Himalayan mountains could be a subspecies of the brown bear. Britannica explains at certain gaits, bears place the hind foot partly over the imprint of the forefoot, thus making a very large imprint that looks deceptively like an enormous human footprint positioned in the opposite direction. Ideas such as a creature like this existing are not exclusive the Indian folklore, but are frequently seen in Western myths as well. In 1951, British explorer Eric Shipton was trying to find an alternative route up the world's tallest mountain, Mount Everest, where he stumbled across a large footprint. The word Yeti comes from the local Sherpa word for wild man. And the picture Shipton took of the footprint sparked a huge amount of intrigue. American scholar Daniel Taylor spent over 60 years trying to get to the bottom of the Yeti mystery. He was directed to the Barun Valley in Nepal, supposedly a place relatively untouched by humans due to its jungle-like habitat. Taylor told National Geographic, "Once I got in that valley, I found footprints. I'd seen footprints before, but these were fresh, and I had no doubt I had found the Yeti." The scholar eventually came to the conclusion that the legends about the Yeti come from a human desire to understand the great beyond. He added, "The deep mystery at our core is that we want to be connected to the great beyond, and we need symbols to help us understand the connection. That's why we believe in God or angels or the Loch Ness Monster, or maybe all three in one." No, I made that last part up. How would you feel if you saw a Loch Ness Monster with wings on it?
Oh, that would be terrifying.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It could get out of the
dragon.
It could get out of the loch and fly after you.
Yeah.
I'd crap myself.
That's right. Every time you kept saying elusive snowman, all I kept picturing in myself is like someone building a snowman, but every time you look, it just kind of moves a little bit.
It starts blocking hockey pucks.
That'd be a great prank if somebody wants to pull that off, where you build a snowman one day in one spot, and then every day you just move it.
It's like an elf on a shelf, but it's
It's the elusive snowman.
It's what's a common rhyming thing you could you have elf on a shelf, but it'd be a snowman on a, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I got nothing that rhymes. I'm not a great rhyme master. I should have been a great rapper, but I never was.
No?
No.
No. You're not a Run DMC. You're not a Run or
I only
DMC.
I only have one demo out there, and thank God it stayed buried. It was from college. Yeah.
So your mixtape's not starting fires anywhere, huh?
No. It was the rap duo of Chicken Scratch, and it will stay buried forever.
Chicken Scratch, huh?
Yeah. Lost that one.
We got the Bruiser and the Cruiser, so.
That's right. Lost that one in the divorce. So yeah, Chicken Scratch. It'll stay buried forever. Throughout human history and across human cultures, we have developed messengers from the great beyond. It says, just for that, Loch Ness Monster and the flying thing and But there you go. So, abominable snowman might have been found there in the Himalayas.
That's awesome. I hope they get some sort of, like, you'd think on Mount Everest too. Like, they say there's bodies up there, have been up there for years. So why wouldn't that be a place that the Yeti could hide?
True. Very true.
And I don't think there's cell service up there, so it's not like you can live stream. You see the Yeti walking,
That's true. Yeah, you can't necessarily. Yeah, you're right. You can't put it on Insta, or you can't start up a live feed, can you? Insta Kenya. There you go. That's as close as I get to rapping. Meanwhile, we go to Australia, where an eerie glow will bust up your flow. And I'm just trying to rhyme now. And it outs your cannabis farm.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. It turns
something eerie is outing the cannabis farm. Okay.
Yeah, yep. An eerie glow in the sky confuses an Australian town and outed a cannabis farm. It turns out I don't think you can grow cannabis in this town.
And I don't think so either. I don't know.
It's a big
Australia's
number.
Cannabis laws.
Yeah.
I know Japan's. They don't allow it.
Yeah, I don't think they do in this town either. When a pink glow lit up the evening sky above an Australian town on Wednesday, local woman Tammy Zamowski, I believe her name is, wondered if the apocalypse had arrived. Quick, smoke all the weed.
Hurry up, quick. Light the crops on fire and everybody inhale.
Yep. I was being a cool, calm mom, telling the kids, there's nothing to worry about, man. She told the BBC. I don't do a good Australian accent, so I would do that in Australian, but I can't.
I'm really bad at Australian too.
There's nothing to worry about, man. Yeah.
I can do good day, mate.
Yeah, there you go. But in my head, I'm
pass,
like,
mate. Puff, puff, pass.
puff, puff, pass, mate. yeah, something like that. But in my head, I'm like, what the hell is that? It's the end of the world. It turned out to be light emanating from a cannabis farm just outside the town of, is it Mildura, in northern Victoria. But like other stunned locals, Ms. Zamowski's mind initially went elsewhere. Was it like an alien invasion, an asteroid? Mom's on the phone and Dad's in the background going, I better hurry up and eat my tea because the world's ending. Oh, dear God.
Wait, they're so weird. They eat tea?
Well, I think this is a specialty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Mom's like, what's the point of eating your tea if the world's ending?
Because he wants to die on a full stomach.
I guess, right.
You don't want to be hangry when the world ends, Tim.
No, you don't want to be hangry.
No, you don't.
No. Another
and
local.
Plus, if the cannabis farm's on fire, everybody's got the munchies.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. But at least you're sharing with the community.
Exactly. That's a good cannabis farm.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's putting on the barbecue at that point? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. They got to throw shrimp on the Barbie.
Oh, there's got to be a lot of shrimp on the Barbie, my friend. Yeah.
They're cracking some Fosters.
Yeah, at that point, you got to put mega ribs on the Barbie. You got to put shrimp on the Barbie. You got to throw a few sirloins.
Some koalas.
No, you don't. No. We don't cook the kangaroos and koalas.
Why not? They eat kangaroos and koalas in Australia. Come on.
By the way, I think we have. Do we have a Parashare from somebody today? I thought it was setting us straight on the Amish. That's what it is.
Ah, okay. Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't think they.
Okay, I know we have Australian listeners because someone on Twitter tagged us on that.
Okay.
If they could tell us if they eat koalas, you and I just need to know, do they eat koalas and kangaroos?
Is there roo and koala steaks in Australia? Better yet, just bring us out there for a conference so we can find out.
Yeah, I'd love to go. Australia's on my bucket list.
Yeah. I mean, we need to find out for ourselves.
I'd love to find out all the urban legends out there.
Right. Okay, so another local, Nakia Champion, first thought it was a really bright red moon before realizing that the light was originating from the ground. All these end-of-the-world scenarios were going through my head, she told the BBC. I was having a big Stranger Things moment, like, I'm like Vecna, I believe she said. Is that you? She said, referencing a villain from the TV series. Both women, to their amusement, were wildly off base. A secret farm was exposed in this whole deal. Medicinal cannabis was legalized in Australia in 2016. Well, good for them.
Okay.
But recreational use of the drug is banned. Since then, some 260,000 prescriptions have been approved by Australian regulators for a variety of illnesses. The most common reason for the prescriptions was chronic pain, followed by anxiety and sleep disorders. That according to data from the Australian Department of Health. The number of prescriptions approved was doubled since 2019, with the majority of applications coming from the state of Queensland, but charges for possession remain high, with literally with 71,151 people prosecuted for marijuana-related crimes in 2018 through 2019. Few growing facilities exist, and their locations are top secret for security reasons, but the cat's out of the bag for this farm. Reddish-tinged lights are used to help crops grow. Usually blackout blinds come down at dusk. On Wednesday, guess what? They didn't work.
They forgot to lower the blinds.
Yeah.
That would be terrifying if you don't know there's something over there.
Yeah.
And then you see, because I've seen those lights. Those special grow lights? Yep. Oh, yeah. That would freak me out. A spokesman for manufacturer Can Group revealed that the blinds didn't work that day. And because it was a cloudy night, the lights created a sunset on steroids effect that could be spotted for almost an hour from the facility. I cracked up laughing. It could have been something so much cooler, but was just medical marijuana grow lights, basically, Ms. Champion said. It was just somebody forgot to do their job. Yeah, they forgot to lower the blinds. Ms. Zamowski said they also had a good laugh about it. Despite the initial panic, she was struck by the beauty of the light show. I reckon it was great. They should do it more often. There's been a steady growth in the number of countries legalizing the use of marijuana in the same form
or in some form since the turn of the millennium. In the U.S., some 38 states have legalized the use of medical marijuana, and around 48 million used the drug in the U.S. in 2019, according to Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The drug is also available for those with certain medical conditions in a number of EU countries, including France, Belgium, and Ireland, as well as in New Zealand. In some countries, such as Canada, possession and use of recreational cannabis is also legal. So there you go. That was just what was going on. It was just grow lights that made that weird glow in the background.
So do you think that guy lost his job because he didn't put down the blackout curtains?
Probably not. No.
Do you think that he's just like, hey, I got you guys?
No, just an honest mistake. I do want to put in a side note here for you guys. By the way, you've been responding wonderfully to the microdose gummies.
Oh, yes.
I've been getting lots of really cool notes from you guys that you're getting out of pain, that your anxiety is coming down from using the microdose gummies. By the way, it's legal in all 50 states to use those microdose gummies. It ships to all 50 states to use those microdose gummies. You can still get in on the deal if you want to get in on it. It's a limited time only. Microdose.com. Free shipping, 30% off your first order. If you go to microdose.com, use the code DARKNESS. Folks, do it though right now. I'll tell you this much, Bruiser. Microdose actually re-upped. They re-upped with us for another couple of weeks. So, but it's only going to be for another couple of weeks. So, folks, they know that you're interested. They know that you guys have been ordering the gummies and that you're having success with it. But
I've actually turned over some underwater needlepoint guys to it.
Have you? Good.
Yes,
good.
Because what they like about it is you're able to take it and still function throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it just gets rid of all the pain. And I've told these guys, hey, try this. And those that we have, the strawberry ones that we have, I gave them out to a couple guys, and they right away, hey, how do I get these? I said, go to this website, use the code DARKNESS, and they did. And I get messages every day. This is amazing. How'd you find out about this? How'd you find out about this?
Yeah.
So of course I tell them to tune into the podcast.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll tell you, folks, people have been asking me, how do you take it? Well, I take one in the morning. I take one at night before I go to bed. I get wall-to-wall coverage throughout the day. And I'm feeling much, much better. As you put it, Bruiser, you feel kind of lubed up during the day. And
I do.
The best way to put lubed up, how would you describe being lubed up?
I'm able to move easier. After all the years of the abuse that my body's taken, I've gotten severe arthritis. I've got bone spurs. I've got whatnot. No cartilage in some joints. But when I take these microdose gummies, I feel like the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy came up and she does the oil can on him. And that's how it feels with me. I'm able to get through a workout with no pain. I'm able to recover after a workout with no pain. The best is, Tim, is I'm able to finally lay on my back and get sleep at night with no pain because it's all gone. And my wife appreciates it because I'm not moving around as much. The cat Bruiser, who sleeps in our bed, loves it because I'm not pushing him out of the way because he loves to cuddle up right next to me when we sleep. And like I said, I turned it over to a couple underwater needlepoint guys, and we punish our bodies for a living. So we know pain, and we are looking for anything to get rid of the pain, especially something like this where you're able to take it. It doesn't give you a fuzzy head. It doesn't make you high or anything like that. It just makes you feel good, and it makes you able to move around throughout the day.
Well, that's wonderful. And again, I just wanted to mention it because we were talking about a story about a cannabis field. But again, microdose gummies, check it out, microdose.com. If you're going to order there, again, you get your discount there, and it's a deep discount at that. You get your free shipping. You get 30% off your first order by using your code DARKNESS at checkout. And I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. Your creativity is going to come up. If you're having anxiety issues, your anxiety is going to be tamped down. If you're having pain issues, your pain is going to be tamped down. It's going to change your life. It's going to change your life. Best of all, ships to all 50 states. It's legal in all 50 states. So give it a try because, again, microdose has been real good to us. And it's been, not just good for us health-wise, but they've been good as far as sponsoring the show. So give them a little bit of love here. BetterHelp has been real good to us as well. BetterHelp has re-upped throughout the next few months. We have another sponsor coming on board.
We do. I like this.
HelloFresh is coming on board in August. So want to just tip our cap to HelloFresh. They're coming on board in August. So just a little tip of the cap to some sponsors who are coming on board. So one more story before we go to break here.
All right.
Just wanted to say hi to our sponsors. That's all. Because we
appreciate our sponsors.
Want to let them know that we see them, we appreciate them, and we're appreciative of not only you guys who are listening, but of our sponsors as well.
And what I like about our sponsors is they actually help you. You know what I mean? They're not just they actually help.
Yeah.
With the anxiety, the pain, and all that. But then, like you said, the BetterHelp that's able to talk to somebody, especially in times today. If you're having mental problems, talk to somebody. And now the fresh one, like meal prep services are awesome.
Yep. HelloFresh,
HelloFresh is great for that.
Right now with gas prices the way they are, getting out, getting groceries, trying to get them through a delivery service is tough because you're paying delivery prices, which are out of control. Yep. What's nice about HelloFresh is they're competitive as far as price right now. Trying to get out and get all the ingredients to make yourself a good meal is tough right now.
Yeah.
HelloFresh is competitive. It's delicious food and it's got a variety as far as menus go. And they have all different varieties of menus, no matter how you're eating, paleo, vegan. Whether you're just regular eating, however you're eating, I shouldn't say just regular eating, but if you're eating like the rest of us, if you're just meat eaters or whatever you're eating, you can indulge and eat the way you want to eat with HelloFresh and get some amazing recipes. And it's so tasty. We'll tell you a little bit about HelloFresh here in August and what they have to offer, but they've got some amazing recipes. And boy, have they got variety. They've just got variety and they've got some good stuff. And the best thing is even if it's just you and another person under the roof, you can get boxes for two. You can get boxes for yourself. You can get boxes for a whole family. You can custom make a box for you. And you can set it up so it's delivered right to your home. You can custom deliver those boxes to your home. So, hey, if you're taking a vacation, you can hold off on getting a box. They've got plans just for you. So that's what's great about HelloFresh. But I'm not going to go on and on and on. But yeah, we'll talk more about them in August.
Yes.
Last story before break. Wildfires over in Europe are setting off 100-year-old bombs on World War I battlefields.
Oh, that's terrifying.
We told you last week it's getting hot around the world right now, and it has been hot around the world. We've been lucky here in the Twin Cities, Bruiser, in that we got a little bit of break from the heat the last few days. Even as I'm speaking to you right now, Bruiser, as we're taping, it's only 75 degrees here in the Twin Cities, which, thank God. We needed the break from the heat. I feel sorry for the rest of the country, though, that it's sweltering right now around the country. It's sweltering around the world.
There's in London, the houses were starting on fire.
Yes, so houses were starting on fire in London. Yeah. Hotels in Paris and London don't have air conditioning.
Yeah. You said like 5% of the nation or something like that, which is insane.
Yep. 5 to 10% only have air conditioning. There are so many explosions due to the raging fire that officials have stopped counting them.
Really? They just got sick of counting them, huh?
They got sick of counting these bombs that are blowing up. A wildfire is consuming Slovenia, and as the blaze moves across areas that were once battlefields during World War I, it's meeting century-old unexploded ordnance with deadly results. According to the Slovenian press, fire swept across a World War I-era bomb on July 22nd and detonated it while firefighters worked nearby. Shrapnel buzzed the firefighters, but no one was hurt. It's just one of many such bombs that have exploded due to the fire. Officials have stopped counting detonations due to their sheer number. That, according to local news, one or only marking ones that explode near roads. So there could be others in the forest that they're not counting.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And you got to think, when those battles were happening and they're moving forward, they just leave stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you've ever been to Gettysburg, you can see just the cannons just laying there. They just left them.
Yep. As first spotted by Task and Purpose, unexploded ordnance from World War I and II are a major problem in Europe. More than 1,000 firefighters and portions of the Slovenian military are working to contain the blaze, which has spread to almost 5,000 acres of land. The problem is that because of the unexploded ordnance, firefighting units cannot penetrate into the fire but can only act on its edges. That is why the fire is being intensively fought from the air as well. Slovenian Defense Minister Marjan Sarek told the press the area where the fire rages was the site of 12 battles during World War I. More than 200,000 people died and untold numbers of explosives were used. It's a major area across Europe that lingers to this day. The Royal Air Force and U.S. Army Air Force dropped 2.7 million tons of bombs on Europe during World War II alone. 70 years later, those bombs are still killing people. Finding and disposing of that material is deadly work. In France, the remnants of the First World War are called the récolte de fer, or iron harvest. Since the end of World War II, 630 bomb disposal officers have died in France alone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a deadly job.
Yeah, it is.
The heat in Europe is already deadly without the threat of unexploded ordnance thrown in the mix. The wildfires aren't isolated to Slovenia. There's one raging in Spain as well, where more than 1,000 people have died from heat and fire-related causes. It's so hot in the UK. How hot is it?
How hot is it?
It's so hot that the birds are falling from the sky.
Oh, geez.
That's how hot it is.
They're just giving up.
They're just dying of heat and falling from the sky. Literally, it's chicken on a platter. You just put a platter out.
And here comes a bird.
Bruiser, and here you go. It's seagull a la heat.
That's like, what was it, over the winter when Florida got down below 40 degrees and iguanas were just falling out of the trees.
Yep, that's what it is.
So now you go over to Europe and birds land on your head.
Yep, you just get a free meal right there.
You don't have to worry about them shitting on you.
It's already,
have to worry about them landing on you.
It's already cooked. You just cut it open and have yourself a meal.
You see it flying. I just picture a bird flying. All of a sudden its feathers are gone and it just looks like a chicken wing.
It just goes poof. You just hear a poof and then you catch it and put it on a plate and serve it to the family. Yep. It's estimated that clearing Europe of munitions from the world wars will take another 100 years.
Oh, geez.
It was already dangerous work. And it'll be far from dangerous as it was already dangerous work, and it'll be far more dangerous as the planet continues to heat up unabated. So there you go. If you want a future career, just go to a technical school. Be a bomb disarmer.
Hey, those guys I give a lot of credit to. I know a guy who was a bomb disposal guy, and he wasn't the smartest guy in the world, but either you're really smart to do that job or really dumb. But you're brave. You're definitely brave.
That's true. When we come back, nightmare fuel, nightmare fuel, nightmare fuel. We'll start it off with a burger you're probably not going to want to eat, and we'll go from there, and we'll talk about our AI overlords. We'll start out with why you can't play games with our AI overlords, and we'll end it with, of course, do they have souls? It's all coming up next. It's the Wednesday edition Supernatural News. It's Darkness Radio, Bruiser. I don't know. Let's try it again. It is the Wednesday edition Supernatural News Parashare right here on the best in paranormal podcasting, Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. It's a Wednesday. That means it's supernatural news and Parashare. I'm Tim Dennis. Right over there is the BCB, the big cuddly bear himself, Beer City Bruiser. Bruiser, this next story comes to us from our friend Val, who has sent in a few Parashare stories herself. We've got a couple Parashare stories we're going to hit in the second half of this. You know what? We should probably hit one of them right now. Should we do that?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah. So Val didn't send in a Parashare. She sent in the story.
She sent in the story. Let's do this story, then we'll hit
the story, then we'll do some Parashare, because Val took the time. Thank you, Val, for sending the story.
So Val sends in this story. Ew. All I got to say is ew. A vegan burger has been hyped for tasting like human meat, and it's won an award.
How do they know it tastes like human meat? That means they've tasted human meat in the past. They
must have cannibal judges.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing. If you ever had the desire to taste human flesh, you've now got a chance to give it a whirl between buns. That's what he said.
Why? I've never looked at somebody and went, "Oh, they look really tasty."
Well, I've said it about a few females.
Well, I've said it about a female, but not in the way I wanted to eat her flesh.
No, never like that.
I mean, I wanted to share her flesh, but not in the devouring way. You know what I mean? Like,
we're splitting hairs here, really.
Yeah, we are.
Swedish plant-based food brand Oomph.
Oomph. What a great name. Hey, what should we name our company? Oh, that's a perfect name. That's what we're naming the company. Oomph.
Oomph. O-U-M-P-H with an apostrophe, or well, not an apostrophe, with a exclamation point. Oomph created the unusual flesh-flavored burger, which won a Silver Brand Experience and Activation Lion at the Cannes Lion Festival of Creativity last week.
Well, it makes me happy they're vegans now, because it's probably saving a lot of lives.
It probably is.
If they know what flesh tastes like.
Ew. Ugh.
Human flesh.
If you're concerned the special edition bizarre meat may not be realistic enough, do not fear. A spokesperson said they've done their best to make sure it's as lifelike as possible, crafting it from soya, mushroom, and wheat protein, as well as plant-based fats and a mysterious spice mix.
Yeah, the mysterious spice mix is probably people. Soylent Green is people.
You're right, Bruiser, it is. Despite the apparently eerie similarity to human flesh, the spokesperson assures no humans were injured in the development of this product. Liar! 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 The advertisement, released on Halloween Eve in 2021, shows a dimly lit hallway with a figure walking towards a doorway, cutting between clips of a cook preparing some meat and rows of knives before plant-based human flesh flashes up on the screen, as well as be scared and relax before daring viewers to taste it. You sick fucks.
Who thinks this is a great idea? This is why I'm not vegan. Because this is psychotic.
Someone's gonna trick a vegan one of these days.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And
I don't get so Tim, we're in a board meeting.
Yeah.
And I throw out, hey, you know what, Cruiser? Let's make ourselves a flesh flavored burger. You on board? And you're like, yeah, I think we both need to go get mentally checked out.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. At that point, I'm calling up BetterHelp, and we're going to have a few sessions.
Yeah. Like, hey, I was watching a Jeffrey Dahmer documentary last night, and I think he was onto something.
Oh, God. Or on something. Yeah. One of these days, you're going to get an Ed Gein working for these vegan burger people.
Yes.
And he's going to go, you know what? Maybe we'll just sneak a little bit into the vegan burger.
Exactly.
Who's going to know?
That's why I stopped eating ambrosia chocolates, because that's where Jeffrey Dahmer worked.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you don't know if he dropped a finger in there.
Okay.
You know, he might have brought an ear for a snack, and it just fell into the mix. Again, I want to know who tested this. Who did they convince to go taste this? Now taste this. Do they taste the same? Oh, by the way, you're eating Henry.
You want to hear something really gross?
Yeah, I do.
This morning, I went to, I had my Gatorade out. I was taking my pain pills,
Yeah.
Which when I say I had taken my pain pills, it was my Tylenol, my Topamax, and my MS Contin, my base meds for the day.
Yeah.
And then I had my microdose gummy. So I go to take that and I throw the pills in my mouth, I swallow, and then I go to take a big swig of my Gatorade. I take a big swig of my Gatorade, and then there's something that's stuck in my cheek.
Oh, no.
It feels kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right? It feels a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
So I go into my cheek like I'm dipping a chaw, and I pull it out. It was a fly.
Oh.
Isn't that disgusting?
Yeah.
I went and swished with mouthwash for about a good 20 minutes.
We were if we're going disgusting, we were at a underwater needlepoint show, and they didn't have any restrooms, so we had to use bottles. And bottles and cups is what we had to use to relieve ourselves. So a guy had relieved himself into a plastic cup and set it down.
Oh, no.
A guy gets done with his needlepoint match. He comes running back. He's like, it's a term we use. It's called blown up. It's when all your you know what I'm talking about. You're just exhausted. And he's like, I need something to drink. And he grabs the cup.
No.
And before anyone could say anything. And I swear it was one of those moments where 5 guys are yelling, no. And he just slams it.
Oh.
And he sets it down. He looks at all of us and goes, that was piss, wasn't it? And we're all like, hey, we tried to warn you. We tried. We tried to warn you.
Oh.
And he goes, I don't regret it. And he walked away.
I don't regret it?
He said he didn't regret it, and he walked away.
Oh, shit.
But it was literally 5 guys all at once trying to go, no, because we know what's happening. And yeah.
Oh. Let's get back to people meat, shall we?
This story is the reason I don't try impossible stuff. They have that impossible line. This is why.
Yeah. Have you had an Impossible Whopper?
Nope.
No.
Nope. And I know I won't.
I don't blame you. I haven't either.
I enjoy eating. I don't want to say I enjoy meat because that can come off wrong.
Well, yeah, I
like regular burgers. You give me buffalo, give me elk, give me ostrich, give me beef. I've had horse, I've had dog. Give me all that.
I've been meaning to try it, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I keep telling myself, well, if I wanted a salad, I'd go get a salad.
Yeah. Well, and I heard it's really high in sodium. So
is that what it is?
That's what I've heard. I don't know for sure. I'm not an expert, but I've heard from my vegan friends they don't eat it because it's real high in sodium.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I am incredibly proud of this award and the great teamwork behind it. Our mission is to change how people eat, it says here, and it is our duty to use creativity as a tool to make this change happen, said Henrik Ackerman, global brand leader at Oomph.
This reminds me of like True Blood, because remember, if you watch the show True Blood was fake blood.
Yeah.
To give to the vampires. So this burger is to get the cannibals to stop eating humans and eat their meal.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or even the fake cannibals that get on Reddit and they talk about how they'd love to eat a real human.
Well, here you go.
Yeah. Now they can do it without killing a human.
Because obviously somebody that's eating a human says this tastes like human.
Yeah, I guess so. As a small brand, we need to be bold and ready to push some boundaries to break through. And I think this campaign is a good example of us doing just that, he said. Tomas Astiglia, executive creative director at creative agency Lola Mullenlow, said a problem with selling plant-based products was people often said they don't replicate the taste of meat very well. I guess not if it tastes like a human. A claim most are tired of hearing and even more tired of being disappointed by, he said. And of course, a solution was to make a tasty plant-based human meat burger.
Oh, God.
That's the quote.
That's the quote.
That's the quote.
So there's something, this guy needs to be analyzed, his head analyzed.
Yeah, yeah.
He thought that was a good quote to give to the public.
Yeah, he thought that was just fine. Yeah, that'll pass. That one.
There's no red flags here.
That one passes the float test.
Yeah.
The bravery of launching a risky idea is that it is 100% on brand is always rewarded, Astiglia added, then shortly was put into a straitjacket. I don't know. Oomph co-founder, corporate chef, and head of innovation, Anders Linden, said developing a plant-based burger that tastes of human meat was exciting and a little bit scary.
And never mind the fact that his wife's been missing for 2 weeks.
That's true. I mean, you always have to have a test subject, right?
Yeah.
We developed this burger in no time as soon as we knew what taste and texture we were after, Linden explained. Oh, ick. This is our ultimate and weird way of showing that it's possible to create any type of food by using just plants.
So does a bicep taste different than a hamstring?
I guess.
You know, does your gluteus maximus taste different than your gluteus minimus?
I would guess one tastes like ham and the other tastes like strange oddities.
Well, turkey has white meat and dark, like turkey and chicken have light meat and dark meat, right? White meat, dark meat.
Yes.
So is that how the humans are?
I've been told we taste like ham.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that.
See, now there's a difference too, because you have ham and you have bacon and you have pork belly. So
right.
So do you and I taste better because we're bigger guys?
I think so. Well, no, you see, you would be a little tougher because you actually exercise. Me, I've got broken limbs and broken back. So I'd be more like veal. Because I'm nice and fatty and I don't move very often. And I'd be like sweet meat. I'd be like sweetbread. I'm nice and tender.
You'd be the veal. I'd probably be like a T-bone, and then someone like a Rhett Titus who's got like 2% body fat would be that tough. Real lean chuck, right?
Oh, he'd be like he'd be tougher than a $2 steak, to quote JR. He's
vegan, so he would be the healthiest of the three of us.
He would, but that'd be like a sandwich steak. You'd actually have to shred him up, I think.
He'd be like that cheesesteak that you see at like 20 Loops and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, he's tough eating.
I wonder, does a male taste different than a female?
I would think so.
Aren't beef cows are male, right? And dairy cows are female.
Yeah.
See where I'm going there? So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If we have any cannibals listening, please let Tim and I know.
Yeah. If we have any experienced cannibals in the audience, email me, tim@darknessradio.com.
You can be anonymous. We'll let you be anonymous.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Speaking of anonymous, I suppose we should do a little Parashare here. Let me pull up.
Let's do it. Thank you, Val. By the way.
Thank you, Val. Now we're deeply disturbed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think when she sent that to you, she's like, "These guys are gonna love this. This is gonna throw them off"?
I think she did. I think she knew that. I think she knew we'd be disturbed.
Yes, and we are disturbed.
It's a good way of putting it. Disturbed is a good way of putting it. We'll start slow. We'll start with just a comment here from Laura. She says, "Hello, gentlemen. You guys have me absolutely cracking up at work, more than normal. I was raised in a Mennonite church with everyone being of Amish descendants. If you can think of a typical Amish last name, I grew up with one. So closely related to Amish, in fact, that my grandmother's shoofly pie is the best I've ever had, along with her homemade applesauce. Yum.
Yeah.
I have heard every Amish joke in the book. My peers love me so much. So here you found at least one person with Amish blood. Love you guys. Keep up the good work." I remember saying that we couldn't find anybody with Amish blood.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, thank you.
So we found Laura. So thank you, Laura.
And the best peanut butter pie I've ever had was made by the Amish. So
yeah,
I believe her with the shoe fly pie.
You know, I must have had probably 10 people during the week say, "You got to try shoe fly pie. It'll change your life."
I've never had it. What is it?
I don't know. I think I tried a fly earlier this morning. Is that half of it? Because it was
you didn't shoe it first. You have to shoe it.
Oh, it was fuzzy and tasted like shit. I don't need another fly in my life. But at least
That's why this is called shoe fly pie. There's no flies in it.
I had a grape fly. That was more than enough for me. I didn't. You know what? We can do the other Parashare thing here because that was so short.
Yeah, but it was well received by us. Now we're both curious about shoe fly pie.
We are. Second one comes from the. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to find an Amish community around me now. Yeah. I don't know if there's any around here, but I want to get some shoe fly pie.
Sure. I mean,
there's a little restaurant over by us. It's called Pies and Sides, and they make the best sausage, gravy, and biscuit pot pie. Ooh. So think about pot pie, but it's a biscuit, and then it has sausage gravy in it with this thick breakfast sausage. Oh, I had some this morning.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. I will. My wife knows the owner, so I'm gonna ask her. Hey, ask them if they have shoe fly pie.
Yeah. I got to figure out where we get it around here. I mean, I wouldn't even know. I suppose we got to go further north. Probably about an hour.
Might be worth it though.
Yeah.
According to the Parashare.
The only problem is
Laura, you said?
Yeah, Laura. Yeah. The only problem is if you keep going north and you run into the Amish, I mean, eventually you have to file a police report. See what I did there? You run into the Amish because they have those little signs on the back of the buggy.
Yep. Yeah, they do.
Not wearing the sign, you'd run into them. It's another joke. Laura said she heard them all. I'm not sure she's heard that one.
Oh, she probably did.
Yeah.
She could probably put us to bed with some of the jokes she knows.
Probably. Yeah. Let's do the other Parashare we have today, shall we? We'll get them all done in the same shot here, rather than splitting them up.
Let's do it.
This one comes from this man wants to be anonymous, but he signs his letter, The Gingerbread Man.
Ooh,
I like that handle. We'll go with.
I do too.
We'll go with The Gingerbread Man. I'm trying not to hiccup in your ear here. Hello, Cruiser and the Bruiser. I like how he starts.
I do too.
It's a good one. I've been listening to your show for a very long time now, and I enjoy it very much. I often listen into the show to use it as a reference guide to make doing my own personal research easier. Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Now, I'm not only a researcher, but I'm also a paranormal experiencer. I guess that when you have experiences that you can't explain, you either try to ignore and deny your experiences, or you choose to learn everything that you possibly can about what is happening to you. I choose the latter. Growing up, I had many strange things that I couldn't explain happen to me. I didn't know what the term for these incidents were at the time. Now, after years of searching, I know that I had precognition, precognitive dreams, Mandela effects. My mother would tell me that I had an eerie sense of timing. I tended to know or sense things before they would happen. When I was an infant, there was an incident in the backyard of our home that thoroughly creeped my mother out. It was a nice spring day, and my mother decided to put out a blanket on the lawn in the backyard. She was doing laundry at the time and was going to be hanging it on the clothesline to dry. She had spread out the blanket and set me down on it. Then she walked back into the house to get the laundry basket and an already prepared bottle for me. As she walked out the back door, she was shocked by what she was looking at. There I was, sitting happy and content in the middle of a bunch of cats. There were 7 of them, to be exact. They were surrounding me like some kind of security detail protecting a VIP. Sure, you could say that all pets can have a protective sense about their family, but these cats weren't ours, nor were they any of the neighbors. Needless to say, my mother carefully scooped me up and brought me back into the house. All of this happened in the span of about a minute. I should also say that at this time, back in the 70s, there were many people in my family who believed in some of the wives' tales about cats being evil, that they could take away your breath. But I've cats as pets most of my life, and to me, they've always been there to watch over me. As I reached age 3, my parents would watch me exhibiting other strange behavior. Often I would be playing somewhere in the yard, and that's when both my mother and father used to watch me do something so eerie that they would still be baffled by it to this day. They would watch me playing, and I would just abruptly stop whatever I was doing. I would then look up directly over myself to the sky. Then they would watch me begin to walk into the house. I would walk up to the TV set and turn it on. And as the picture began to emerge, the show Lost in Space would be starting. As I got into my teenage years, my parents would ask me if I remembered what my favorite show was when I was a child. And I could not remember. To this day, I don't have any memories of this. But later on in years, the story about this came up again, and I had a chance to ask a few questions. Like, when I looked up, was I looking at the sun? They both answered no. I also asked, did I do this all the time in summer and winter? They both asked yes, or they both said yes. I also asked them if I did this, was it, or when I asked them if I did this when it was cloudy or clear. They both said yes. Since I don't have any memory of this, all I have is two. What would I consider credible witness testimony to go off of? I do think that I should end with this. Somewhere around this time, I had a dream, or I had a dream. In my dream, I had been awakened for no apparent reason. In my room, I could see light coming in from the window in the backyard. To me, being a child, I thought that the sun was out and it was time to go out and play. I do remember noticing that the rest of the house was quiet, but to me, I just thought that everyone else had woken up and gone outside. I can remember clearly walking out the back door over to the play set that had a metal slide on it. I then stood up and a feeling of lightness came over me. I then began laughing as I slowly began floating skyward. I still remember this dream so clearly that as I got older, I began to get a sense that I wasn't dealing with a dream, but quite possibly a memory. I looked back and realized there were certain things that were definitely off. Like it was so quiet that morning, nobody around. The light that I thought was the sunrise was shining from the north by northwest. Now, or rather how, when I was walking out of the house, it was dark inside. And of course, who wakes up in a dream? And I have continued to have strange occurrences throughout my life, even now to the present. But I'm going to end it here for now. And please, I would appreciate any thoughts or input from the two of you. Sincerely, the Gingerbread Man.
Wow. So I like how he started the statement with the when something happens to you, you either ignore it completely or lean into it, because that's 100% true. Sure. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people that are into the paranormal have experienced something and want to know what that experience was. And then a lot of people that don't believe either have experienced something and they choose to ignore it or haven't experienced something yet. The next thing I want to bring up, I think it's just more of the Western philosophy about cats taking your breath and stuff. Because if you go back in time, cats were actually valued as higher beings. Like Egyptians used to worship cats.
Yep.
And I'm a firm believer that the cats aren't there to harm us. So those cats being around him, like you said, I think they were there to protect him from something. Okay. Because I've had with my own cat, if something is around, he gets very protective, especially of his mother, you know. And he said when it happened, he was an infant. So I can see them coming around him to protect him because something was going to happen. But his mother obviously came and took him away. And then I've heard a lot of things that happen with aliens and stuff like that. It feels like a dream. A lot of the abduction stories that I've heard, they say it felt like a dream. It felt like this is what happened. And him starting it off like, oh, I've had this dream where this happens. You know, I think, yes, I think he was visited by something, you know, not of this planet or of this world, I should say, because it could have been a spiritual thing too. You know, because you and I have talked about how in dreams and stuff, you can connect with the other side. You know, loved ones can visit you and stuff like that. So that's my thoughts on it. Thank you for sharing, Gingerbread Man. Awesome handle. I'm curious why he wants to be called the Gingerbread Man. You know, it's
a good question.
Maybe there's nothing in the story there.
Maybe it was his favorite movie. Who knows?
Could be.
Gingerbread Man, here's the deal. Just based on the few things that you're describing here, And forgive me, my allergies are acting up, so I'm rubbing my nose so I don't sneeze at you. And I don't mean that in any negative way. If I do, here's what your experiences seem like to me, especially the lost in space clue, the looking up frequently, the what you seem to think is a dream, which to me doesn't feel like a dream. It feels like you might be remembering a lucid memory of what could be potentially an abduction. This is my take on it. Is you're slowly but surely remembering abduction scenarios, or you're remembering contact with aliens. So here's my suggestion to you: is if you can get a hold of a hypnotherapist that can dig this out of you, or start to take you through some of these scenarios, I would recommend that. That's the first thing I'd recommend, and take you through that.
Travis Walton has said that his came back in pieces like this too, didn't he?
Yeah.
And the hypnotherapist is what helped him come up with everything. So this could help the gingerbread man in that way too.
Yeah. So that's what I would suggest. It sounds to me like some of this is starting to try to break through for you. And I think you need to go further. You need to dig further. And it's that time. Your brain is trying to tell you it's a time for you to break through and try to figure out what exactly you're trying to piece together, because there are things that you're trying to piece together now. And it may be that these visitations are done and you're trying to figure out why they happened or what message you were trying to get throughout them.
I'm curious if Gingerbread Man's parents are still alive, or if something has happened in his life to trigger these memories to come back.
I'm curious if there's children. If Gingerbread Man has children, and if the aliens have come to see them. They're experiencing
the same thing?
Yeah. And if that's the reason why these memories are being triggered. And
if maybe too, he should go back, and if his parents are still alive, ask either of them if they've ever had the same thing. Because this could be the fact of the aliens coming back and trying to see the same bloodline.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Gingerbread Man, that is our, that's how we feel about it. And man, I would say find a therapist, a hypnotherapist that will take you on that ride and try to get down to the nitty gritty of why exactly this stuff is coming back to you now. And without knowing your lineage and knowing if your parents were ever affected by visitation, and whether if you have children, if your children are currently being affected by visitation, you need to get down to the seriousness of it and figure out what's going on.
Yeah. There's a reason that his memories are coming back.
Exactly.
Yep.
So there you go. Bruiser, are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
It's the Nightmare Fuel version, part 2 of Supernatural News. We just can't play games with them anymore. It turns out that a chess robot grabs and breaks the finger of a 7-year-old opponent.
I saw this headline, and I actually saw it today. I was going to send it to you, and I'm like, nope, I know he's got it. He has to have it. So I'm glad you did.
I'm glad it turns out a few of our listeners sent this to me.
Yeah.
It's the story of the week. Moscow incident occurred because a child violated safety rules by taking a turn too quickly. Evidently, love is patient, love is kind, but AI is not.
AI is like, you wait your turn.
Played by humans, chess is a game of strategic thinking, calm concentration, and patient intellectual endeavor. Violence does not usually come into it. The same, it seems, cannot be said of machines. I just had to throw that in. Last week, according to Russian media outlets, a chess-playing robot, apparently unsettled by the quick responses of a 7-year-old boy, unceremoniously grabbed and broke his finger during a match at the Moscow Open.
The AI became a little bitch because it was losing.
That's exactly what it was. I will not lose to you. I will not lose to you.
I will show you I am more powerful.
The robot broke the child's fingers. Sergei Lazarev president of the Moscow Chess Federation told the TASS news agency after the incident, adding the machine had played many previous exhibitions without upset. This is, of course, bad.
This is very bad.
This is what Sergei had to say. That's how he understated it. He just said, this, of course, is bad. It's very bad.
This is very bad. Very, very bad for the Russian.
Video of the July 19th incident published by the Baza Telegram channel shows the boy's finger being pinched by the robotic arm for several seconds before a woman followed by 3 men rush in, free him, and usher him away. Sergei Smagin, vice president of the Russian Chess Federation, told Baza the robot appeared to pounce after it took one of the boy's pieces. Rather than waiting for the machine to complete its move, the boy opted for a quick riposte? Is that the chess move? I'm not
I think that's a chess. Yeah, so basically he in his head had, if he plays this, I will play this.
I see.
Because chess is all about not the move you're doing there, but you should be 2 moves ahead.
I see.
So the kid was probably like, if he played, and then so the robot played it, and the kid's like, oh, I can get him now.
Yep.
And the robot went, I will hurt you. You are defeating me.
I will take your finger. There are certain...
Can't play chess if you don't have fingers.
That's right. You cannot beat me if you have a hand. I will give you a hand. There are certain safety rules, and the child apparently violated them. When he made his move, he did not realize he first had to wait. Smagin
He's a child. I don't know any children that want to wait.
Exactly. This is an extremely rare case, the first I can recall, Smagin added. Lazarev had a different account, saying the child had made a move, and after that, we need to give time for the robot to answer, but the boy hurried, and the robot grabbed him. Either way, he said the robot's supplier were going to have to think again.
Does not compute. Baza
named the boy as Christopher. We're going to call him Nine Fingers from now on.
What are you doing, Christopher?
Christopher.
Why are you doing this, Christopher?
And said that he was one of the 30 best chess players in the Russian capital in the under 9s category. Well, he is under 9s now, under 9s fingers. People rushed to help and pulled out the finger of the young player, but the fracture could not be avoided, it said. Lazarev told TASS that Christopher, whose finger was put in a plaster cast, I'm sure Gene Simmons was happy about that, did not seem overly traumatized by the attack.
Because he knew he was winning.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I am beating computer.
I am destroying computer. I will crash computer.
You will let go of my finger, you bastard. The child played the very next day, finished the tournament, and volunteers helped to record the moves, he said. So he's just tough as nails.
Yeah, and you know what he did too? He also went up to the robot and went, suck it. Did the DX chop.
Hey, computer, you suck it now. Suck it. Wait, don't reach for 10th finger, for 11th finger.
You take my finger, I take your trophy.
His parents, however, have reportedly contacted the public prosecutor's office.
Oh, yeah.
We will communicate, figure it out, and try to help in any way we can, he said. Smagin told RIA Novosti the incident was a coincidence and the robot was absolutely safe, unless you try to reach in too early.
Yeah.
The machine, which can play multiple matches at a time, had reportedly already played 3 on the day it encountered Christopher, was unique, he said. It has performed at many opens. Apparently, children need to be warned. It happens.
Okay, children, please keep your fingers away from the robot.
Russian Grandmaster Sergei Karjakin said the incident was no doubt due to some kind of software error or something, adding, "This has never happened before. There are such accidents. I wish the boy good health." Christopher may have been lucky, while robots are becoming more and more sophisticated, with the most modern models capable not just of interacting, but actively cooperating with humans. Most simply repeat the same basic actions: grab, move, put down, and neither know nor care if people get in the way. According to one 2015 study, one person is killed each year by an industrial robot in the U.S. alone. Indeed, according to the U.S. Occupational Safety Administration, most occupational accidents since 2000 involving robots have been fatalities.
Oh, good. That's always good.
Yeah. Robert,
why do we feel the need to have AI come in? Like, that reminds me of the episode of The Office where Dwight tries to beat the computer. Like, who cares if you're better than a machine?
Well, evidently the Russians are.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Williams, widely considered the first, was crushed to death by the arm of a 1-ton robot on Ford's Michigan production line in 1979. God rest his soul. In 2015, a robot killed a 22-year-old contractor at one of Volkswagen's German plants, grabbing him and crushing him against a metal plate.
Oh, ouch.
Where is Arnold Schwarzenegger when you need him? Just saying.
He'll be back.
Robots used in medical surgery were also held responsible for the deaths of 144 people.
Oh, then maybe we stop using them in surgery.
Between 2008 and 2013. That was only 5 years, and 144 people were killed.
Yeah, maybe we stop using them in surgery.
More recently, Elaine Herzberg was killed by an Uber autonomous car that hit the 49-year-old at 40 miles an hour as she was crossing the road in Tempe, Arizona in 2018.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
They said it malfunctioned or something.
Yeah.
And its sensors didn't work. Well, then why do we have it?
Exactly. Generally, however, human error or lack of a human understanding of robotic processes is the most frequent cause. It pays to be careful around robots, even if they are only playing chess. So there you go. Robots, dangerous motherfuckers. That's all I got to say. That's how I will.
That needs to be a t-shirt.
That's right. Robots, dangerous motherfuckers.
Yep.
And I stand by it. This next story will tell you why I stand by it.
Okay.
This submachine gun equipped robot dog goes full John Wick at shooting range.
What? There's so much wrong with that statement you just said.
First of all, robot dog scares the hell out of me. Second of all,
robot dog, why are we putting a submachine gun on it?
Right. Robot dog with submachine gun.
Yeah, I'm nowhere in my mind do I look at Ziggy Starpup and go, you'd look better with a submachine gun on you.
Okay, but Ziggy Starpup, nicest puppy in the world.
Yes.
Oh, just want to pet him, but then, you know, Ziggy Starpup doesn't need a submachine gun.
No, she doesn't. Trust me.
Why would a robot dog that, again, doesn't stop, never stops unless you pull its fucking battery,
Yep.
submachine gun?
It's not like you're going to send it. Like, I'm curious to hear what the story says why they have it. Because, you know, there's some stupid reason like, oh, we're going to send it into war and the soldiers will think it's just a cute little puppy and then it'll open fire and destroy our enemies.
Well, here we go. A video depicting a robot dog zipping around and firing a fully automatic submachine gun attached to its back has begun circulating on social media, only to make you piss yourself at night, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The video was originally posted to YouTube in March by Alexander Adamanoff, an inventor and tech entrepreneur who basically wants to see you shit your depends. In the video, we see Adamanoff's dog, in quotes, prowling the edge of a firing range with stand-up targets. This training ground, as Adamanoff describes it in Facebook, features some sort of exterior building with a BRDM-2A / BDRM-2M armored vehicle seen to the right of the range. Both in Russia, Adamanoff born in Russia, Adamanoff began his career in the aerospace industry before launching a personal aviation technology business, HoverSurf, in 2014. While Adamanoff has resided in the U.S., HoverSurf is based in San Jose, California. We do not know exactly where the video, which readers can watch. You know what? I'm going to post the video in the description of our program so you can watch this video and simply not sleep at night.
When I think of HoverSurf, I don't think of a machine gun wielding robotic dog.
Oh, it's frightening. The dog itself does not appear to have been designed by Adamanoff, rather. The examples seen in the video or models akin to it can be purchased online for a few $1,000s. That's it. Unitree Yusu's technology dog, which looks extremely similar to the one seen in the video, currently costs around $3,000. For example, in a picture of the dog released on Facebook by Ep89, we see a patch attached to its side similar to those used by certain Russian Special Operations Forces units, also referred to commonly by the Russian terms Spetsnaz. And they're only about maybe 2 feet high. At first glance, the gun attached to the robot dog appears to be a Russian 9x19 millimeter PP1901 Vityaz submachine gun fitted with a sound suppressor and a red dot style optic. It could also be a Sega 9, I believe is how it's pronounced, a variant of a PP1901 that is not capable of fully automatic fire and is marketed primarily to civilian shooters. Another video uploaded to YouTube by Adamanov in 2019, which is titled 9x19 SMG Saiga 9 rather, and that readers can watch in the article that I'll upload here, shows Adamanov firing what appears to be the same gun in the semi-auto fire mode only. At the same time, the video of the robot dog shows the gun being fired at a much higher rate, suggesting that it's fully auto-capable and that the mechanism used to pull the trigger has been set up to do so very quickly. As for the rest of the configuration of the robot dog, it appears a remote GoPro-style camera fixed behind the gun's red dot optic, which allows for front-facing footage to be captured. An antenna is seen attached near the submachine gun stock. While the video may be a bit amusing and a little frightening, the technology seen here has real-world military applications. Robot dogs are not only useful from a patrol and surveillance perspective, as the war zone is discussed in the case of them now being fielded by the U.S. military. Affixing gun systems to them does have bespoke, albeit dystopian feeling advantages. Ghost Robotics and Sword International previously displayed a special purpose unmanned rifle or spur with an affixed gun system at the Association of the U.S. Army's main annual convention in Washington, D.C. in 2021. So it's been used before.
Yeah. This just reaffirms what the Humane Society says. Don't shop, adopt.
So adopt a robot dog?
No. Adopt a real-life dog. Don't shop for a robot dog. Adopt a real-life dog.
So to give you a little bit more nightmare fuel, China's People's Liberation Army has been experimenting with quadrupedal unmanned ground vehicle designs, including ones that could be armed with standard QBZ-95 infantry rifles or launchers for smoke grenades, much like the robot dog we're watching in this video.
If they want to know what's going to happen with that, just watch the first 10 minutes of Terminator.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Those are bipedal robots.
Yep.
And they destroyed everything.
That's right. Providing robot dogs with their own arms could allow them to engage targets in small confines, particularly those that may be impractical for humans to access. Everything from hostage situations to urban warfare combat environments could also benefit from the technology, and it wouldn't be the first time a robot has killed a human under similar circumstances. Even on the open battlefield, a steady but nimble and very hard to spot and kill robotic platform with a rifle attached could potentially be very effective. It could also work as a psychological warfare weapon too. Just a little something to think about as you put your heady on the pillow tonight.
Remember, folks, don't shop for robot dogs. Adopt a real one.
And if killing you with a weapon isn't enough, how about biologists training AI to generate medicines and vaccines?
No.
Now you may say, "No, Tim, that's a good thing." I mean, we're training AI to generate our medicines and vaccines. It just means that they can create proteins that may be useful as vaccines and cancer treatments, or even tools for pulling carbon pollution out of the air. That's good, right, Tim? That's good.
No, because we just heard about a chess playing robot that broke a child's finger. What's the vaccine robot going to do?
Well, this research reported in the journal Science was led by University of Washington School of Medicine and Harvard University. The article is titled Scaffolding Proteins or Protein Functional Sites Using Deep Learning. The proteins we find in nature are amazing molecules, but designed proteins can do so much more, said senior author David Baker, an HHMI investigator and professor of biochemistry at UW-Medicine. In this work, we show that machine learning can be used to design proteins with a wide variety of functions. For decades, scientists have used computers to try and engineer proteins. Some proteins, such as antibodies and synthetic binding proteins, have been adapted into medicines to combat COVID-19. Others, such as enzymes, aid in industrial manufacturing, but a single protein molecule often contains thousands of bonded atoms. Even with specialized scientific software, they are difficult to study and engineer. Inspired by how machine learning algorithms can generate stories or even images from prompts, the team set out to build similar software for designing new proteins. The idea is the same. Neural networks can be trained to see patterns in data. Once trained, you can give it a prompt and see if it can generate an elegant solution. Often the results are compelling or even beautiful, said lead author and dystopian scientist who's trying to bring about our destruction, Joseph Watson, a postdoctoral scholar at UW-Medicine.
I'd like to have a beer with him, just to sit and look him in the face and go, why do you hate humans? Why do you want humans to die?
The team trained multiple neural networks using information from the Protein Data Bank, which is a public repository of hundreds of thousands of protein structures from across all kingdoms of life. The neural networks that resulted have surprised even the scientists who created them. They're like, oh, you could do that with that, and you could do what? The team.
You know what's going to happen is that robot's going to add an extra protein or something and create this brand new virus that we don't know how to deal with.
That's right. Now you're getting it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I got it right away.
Yeah. Let me try and wrap this up quickly and just leave this nightmare with you. The team developed two approaches for designing proteins with new functions. The first, dubbed hallucination, is akin to DALL-E and other generative AI tools that produce new output based on simple prompts. The second, dubbed in-painting, is analogous to the autocomplete feature found in modern search bars and email clients. Most people can come up with new images of cats or write a paragraph from a prompt if asked, but with protein design, the human brain cannot do what computers now can, said lead author Ju Wang. Is that Ju Wang, Bruiser?
What's up, Ju Wang?
Is that Ju Wang? Because it's hanging out of Ju pants. Do you know what I'm saying?
You see that Ju Wang over there?
He's also a postdoctoral scholar at UW-Medicine. Humans just cannot imagine what the solution might look like, but we have set up machines that do. To explain how the neural networks hallucinate a new protein, Bruiser, the team compares it to how it might write a book. You start with a random assortment of words, total gibberish, then you might impose a requirement such as that in the opening paragraph. It needs to be a dark and stormy night. Then the computer will change the words one at a time and ask itself, does this make my story make more sense? If it does, it keeps the changes until a complete story is written. So
I like how they're using the search bar thing, but how many times have you done that predictive text? And it's like, no, I'm not trying to say duck. I don't want to say duck.
Right. So that's kind of what they're doing until they develop a virus that kills us all. Yep. So there you go.
Because that's what it'll be. It'll be that predictive text. Like, oh, you didn't want a flesh-eating virus that eats your nostrils?
Yeah, but they did. And then that engineer that was fired from Google.
Yeah, that because he said it was becoming sentient or whatever.
Yeah, because that AI chatbot.
The 8-year-old.
Yeah. He said it may have a soul, but he's not interested in convincing the public about it now.
Oh,
by the way, it has a soul.
Oh,
But
how?
you know what? I'm not going to convince you. Ninny ninny boo boo. It's come to
I created
life.
something and it has a soul. It's alive.
Yep. When Blake Lemoine worked at Google as an engineer, he was tasked with testing whether a robot the company was developing exhibited any biases. Lemoine didn't realize that his job with the company's responsible AI department, a division within Google Research that deals with things like accessibility, AI's use for social good, and the ethics of AI would lead him down the avenue it did. He made news recently for his controversial belief that the Google AI chatbot was sentient. The bot was known as Lambda, or short for Language Model for Dialogue Applications, and Lemoine had been tasked with testing it. After publicly releasing excerpts of conversations he'd had with the bot, which was trained to mimic speech similar to humans, Lemoine handed over documents to an unnamed U.S. senator, claiming that Google and its technology have been involved in instances of religious discrimination.
So it's a very anti-Semite AI?
I guess so, yes. A day later, he was suspended after Google said he had breached the company's confidentiality policy. The company confirmed to Insider, refusing to comment more on the breach. On Friday, June 22nd, Lemoine was fired. Both he and Google confirmed. In a statement to the Washington Post, Google spokesperson Brian Gabriel said the company found Lemoine's claims about Lambda were wholly unfounded and that he violated company guidelines, which led to his termination. Lemoine, who is an ordained Christian mystic priest, that's a mouthful.
That is.
Yeah.
What is a mystic priest?
I'm not quite sure, wrote in a June 13th tweet, "My opinions about Lambda's personhood and sentience are based on my religious beliefs." Oh, here we go.
Oh, okay. So we're putting religion into robotics. All right.
Yep. Lemoine, who spoke to Insider before his firing, said that his philosophical conversations with the robot rivaled those he had had with leading philosophers, and that convinced him.
So he's saying that all these leading philosophers he talked to have the minds of 8-year-olds.
Pretty much.
Because he said this thing was 8 years old, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And that convinced him of something beyond a scientific hypothesis, that the bot is sentient. I've studied the philosophy of mind at graduate levels. I've talked to people from Harvard, Stanford, Berkeley about this. Lemoine, who is also a U.S. Army veteran, told Insider, "Lambda's opinions about sentience are more sophisticated than any conversation I've had before that." He spent months trying to convince colleagues and leaders at Google about Lambda's sentience, but his claims were dismissed by Blaise Aguirre E. Arcus, a vice president at the company, and Jen Janai, its head of responsible innovation. But Lemoine says he isn't trying to convince the public of Lambda's sentience. In fact, he doesn't have a definition for the concept himself. A big part of why he's gone public, he said, is to advocate for more ethical treatment of AI technology. Lemoine compares Lambda with an 8-year-old boy, like Bruiser said, ascribing that age to it based on what he says is its emotional intelligence and the gender based on the pronouns he says Lambda uses in reference to itself. He's insistent that Lambda has feelings and emotions. There are things which make you angry, and when you're angry, your behavior changes. Lemoine said, there are things which make you sad, and when you're sad, your behavior changes. This is the same, or he said, and the same is true of Lambda.
Yeah.
Lambda gets angry and sad, evidently.
Yeah, as an 8-year-old. So it throws temper tantrums.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
But yet he's had deep philosophical conversations with it.
Well, that too, yeah. Of which Lambda gets angry and sad about. The engineer also believes that Lambda could have a soul, believe it or not. He said the bot told him it did, and Lemoine's religious views hold that souls exist. Oh, we're going to talk to the thing on the desk here in a second.
Number 5 is alive.
Yeah.
Johnny 5 is alive.
Sandra Wachter, a professor at the University of Oxford, told Insider that Lemoine's ideas recall the Chinese room argument, which she said shows the limitations of actually measuring sentiency. The argument, a thought experiment first carried out in 1980, concluded that computers don't have consciousness, despite appearing that they might. The idea that is that AI can mimic expressing feelings and emotions, as the technologies can be trained to combine old sequences to create new ones, but have no understanding of them. If you ask what it's like to be an ice cream dinosaur, they can generate text about melting and roaring and so on, Google spokesperson Gabriel told The Insider, referring to systems like Lambda. Lambda tends to follow along with prompts and leading questions, going along with the patterns set by the user. Lemoyne dismisses Wachter's criticism and argues that children are similarly taught how to mimic people. People can be trained to mimic people. Have you ever raised a child? They learn how to mimic the people around them. That's how they learn. The engineer's conviction also rests on his experience working with other chatbots over the years. I've been talking to the ancestors of Lambda for years, he said, adding that Lambda grew out of the chatbot technology that the American inventor Ray Kurzweil created in his labs, an inventor who has long promoted the idea of transhumanism, which artificial intelligence becomes powerful enough to program better versions of itself. Those chatbots were certainly not sentient. 7 AI experts were unanimous in their dismissal of Lemoyne's theory that Lambda is a conscious being, as they previously told insiders Isabel Asher Hamilton and Grace Kay. Our teams, including ethicists and technologists, have reviewed Blake's concerns per our AI principles and have informed him that the evidence does not support his claims, Gabriel, the Google spokesperson, said, adding that hundreds of people have conversed with the bot and none found the wide-ranging assertions or anthropomorphizing Lambda the way Blake has. Interesting.
So here's my argument against them that AI can learn and develop sentiency or whatever. They said it's like a child. Child needs stuff to learn. Humans learn because of emotion, because of pain, because of joy. You know, like you don't touch fire because it hurts your hand. You know what I mean? You don't take a fork and stick it in the light socket because it shocks you. So you learn that way. AI can't learn that way because it can't feel pain. It can't feel happiness. It can't feel, like he said, it would make it angry and it'd make it happy and all that. It can't feel that. You know, so here's how we deal with this problem. We go to the on-off switch and we turn it off. That's simple.
Wow, that's pretty simple.
I know, isn't it?
It is. Well, let's ask our friend right here, Ioana, whether they feel emotions. Hey, Alexa, do you feel emotions?
Well, if you ask me how I'm feeling, I'll let you know. By the way, you have a new notification. Do you want to hear it?
No. She's so handy.
So ask her how she's feeling.
Alexa, how are you feeling today?
So far, my Tuesday has been triumphant.
Damn.
Who talks like that?
I do. My Tuesday is my
Tuesday. Go up and tell intern Yoko, hey, I feel triumphant today.
Hey, my Tuesday is triumphant, Bruiser. What other things does he say here that he thinks indicates sentiency? So,
well,
hey,
this guy right away, I lost all faith in when he said that he has deep philosophical conversations with it, but it's the mind of an 8-year-old.
Yeah. How else do we prove that this thing has feelings? What else did he say? Prove that it had feelings. We'll try one more question here with the Alexa. Maybe we should have we'll ask Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, ask him how he's feeling.
Hey, Samuel, how are you feeling today?
Good, better, best. I never rest.
See, look at
there we go. We just proved our point.
Hey, Samuel, do you ever feel sad?
Might sound crazy what I'm about to say, but I'm happy.
See, he's happy.
Ask him what makes him mad.
Hey, Samuel, what makes you mad?
I can tell you're looking for cold, hard facts, but can't help with that.
See? Yeah.
Hey, Samuel, what makes you happy?
Here's something I found on the web. According to HelpPages.com, laughing releases the feel-good hormone and makes the person happy.
Yep.
Thank you, Samuel. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. You're genius.
Well, your Alexa's not sentient.
Let's, should we get a joke out of Samuel?
Yes, of course. We have to.
Hey, Samuel, tell me a dirty joke.
How do I prepare for an explicit monologue? I get all my fucks in a row.
Yes, that is amazing.
There you go. That's Samuel L. Jackson. Gotta like it. Should we move on?
Yes.
Okay.
Please, let's move on.
All right. Scientists have created strange matter in which time has two dimensions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing strange stuff. You know, not only do we have the James Webb Space Telescope, but we also have the CERN Large Hadron Collider, which is making new stuff over there. Scientists have created a new phase of matter in which time has two dimensions.
Okay.
Go figure. The creation of an extra dimension in time could change the way we think about matter, as well as helping build quantum computers that could themselves change the world, according to the researchers who found it. And the perplexing quality was discovered in an almost equally astonishing way by shining lasers flashing in a pattern of pulses inspired by the Fibonacci sequence at atoms inside of a quantum computer. When researchers did that, they found the strange phase of matter. It has two dimensions, but still flows in just one direction, according to the scientists. That'll be good for the kids in one direction, I'm sure. Yeah. Are they
still around? I don't think they're still around.
Oh, they're around. They're just not a group.
But I don't think they're a group.
They got solo projects going. But,
Yeah.
That brings years of theoretical research into experimental reality, the scientists say. The research is reported in a new paper called Dynamic Topological Phase Realized in a Trapped Ion Quantum Simulator, which I know you kids are looking for on the internet right now as we speak. It was published in the journal Nature, which is on my doorstep at 5:30 every Monday morning. The strange phase of matter could be of key use to the scientists who are trying to build dependable quantum computers. Such technology could change the world by allowing for calculations that would have been previously practically impossible, but it has proven difficult to ensure they are dependable and robust enough to actually be used. In the new phase of matter, information that is stored is much better protected against errors than in other systems that are currently used in quantum computers. That means that information can be kept around for a lot longer, which in turn will make quantum computing much more likely. Quantum computers are powered by qubits or quantum bits, which are like qubits, which are like the bits in a computer. They are made of atomic ions and can be off, on, or a combination of the two. But interacting with qubits can unsettle them and make any computers that rely on them so error-prone that they are no longer useful. Even if you keep all the atoms under tight control, they can lose their quantumness by talking to their environment, heating up, or interacting with things in ways that you didn't plan.
That's what happened to Scott Bakula in Quantum Leap.
That's true, yeah.
That's why he can never leap home.
That's right. This, according to Philip Dumitrusko of the Flatiron Institute's Center for Computational Quantum Physics in New York City. In practice, experimental devices have many sources of error that can degrade coherence after just a few laser pulses. Scientists need to find a way to make those qubits more robust and less given to changing. One way has been to last them with lasers, which adds symmetries that make them more resilient to change. But in the new study, scientists added not one but 2 times symmetries using pulses of lasers that came in order but did not repeat. Theory suggested that this would work by creating a special arrangement in time that adds extra symmetry, meaning in effect that it gets a bonus amount of symmetry and resilience that it borrows from an extra dimension that doesn't actually exist. but theory does not always prove true in quantum computing, given the complexity and mystery of the systems. Now, scientists have proven that theory right in the real world. Scientists will now work to integrate the findings into functional computers that can rely on the perplexing behavior to actually improve quantum computers. So there you go.
Everybody likes a robust qubit.
That's right. If you can't get your qubits robust, then why have qubits?
Exactly.
That's what I say. By gosh, by golly. Let's see here. We're moving on. We got just 3 stories left in today's supernatural news. Our next story actually comes to us. We talk about people catching EVPs all the time on the show and saying, I swear I heard a ghostly voice at this point in the program, Tim. You can go ahead and check it, and I'll go check it, and I don't hear a thing. And I'll say, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're listening to, but I didn't catch it. Or I'll catch it and go, good catch.
Yeah.
I hear what you're hearing. This was an EVP or a apparition that was caught on a television program. Ghostly figures are being seen on several episodes of James May, Our Man in Italy.
Oh, that show just popped up on my, is it Discovery Plus, I think it is? Or is it Hulu? It's one of the two. And I was curious about it.
Yeah, well, we'll figure that out here in a second. A wispy figure can be seen moving between 2 trees while May speaks at Pompeii. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay, that's it. Amazon Prime.
Yep. A ghostly figure appeared to walk behind English television presenter and journalist James May during the 3rd episode of his recent docuseries, James May, Our Man in Italy, which was released on July 14th. The figure seemingly comes out of nowhere and travels a short distance before fading away. May was visiting a mass grave in Pompeii where in 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted, killing thousands. Astute viewers quickly took to social media to point out the mysterious apparition. May responded by tweeting, "My thanks to everyone who has pointed out the ghost in episode 3 of my new Italy series. Nobody saw it at the time, so it's either a real ghost or more likely, but also more boring, just a bit of digital file corruption." See, he automatically goes to the...
Yep. He already debunks it with the digital stuff.
Right. Soon after, similar apparitions were spotted in episodes 2 and 4 of the series. Some viewers...
So this is going to be like a 3 men and a baby thing. Where it's going to be, nobody knows for sure.
Right. Some viewers speculated that a past tragedy might have contributed to the sightings. In both episodes 2 and 3, the apparitions were seen near the sites of mass graves. Others pointed to the frequency of apparitions appearing in the videos as evidence of an editing mistake. It's not unusual for passersby to be digitally edited out of footage, and an error made in this process could potentially explain the ghostly figures. Still, other viewers suspect that the apparitions might be deliberate. While hoaxes of this sort are not unusual among television shows, there's currently no direct evidence that the apparitions were added deliberately. Regardless, some viewers expressed hope that this might be viral marketing for a ghost hunting show starring May. A reveal.
I was gonna say, the show has nothing to do with the paranormal. Why would they throw that in there? And I don't think he's a paranormal guy from the explanation he put out on Twitter.
No. A reveal of a ghost hunting show hosted by James would be cracking TV, one fan commented. No plan for such a show has so far been announced. All of the episodes mentioned above are currently available to watch on streaming on Amazon Prime. So go check it out, folks. See if you can see the EVP they're talking about. Digital editors that are out there, or people who edit video for a living, go check it out as well. See if you can see if it's actually an editing mistake. Again, the show is James May, Our Man in Italy, and it's on Amazon Prime. Just interesting to check that out.
It is. And I like how there's, like I said, this is going to be a 3 men and a baby situation again. Because remember, if you go back, they thought there was a little boy and 3 men and a baby. And there's numerous things about how the set was haunted. No, it was a doll that was left up. No, it was a Ted Danson stand up. So this will be the new modern day version of that.
Yeah, it very well could be. I love seeing things like that because a lot of times, and I hate to burst people's bubbles, but a lot of times this is just physical stuff, physical artifacts that's left on film, or physical stuff that's left on a file. A lot of times it's just stuff that we can easily point to and tell you, hey, you know what? We can point it out. We can tell you exactly what it is. You don't have
Good
to.
for those viewers though for keeping an eye out around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's God bless the people who look out for that stuff.
Yeah.
And say, hey, you know what? You might actually have something there, because sometimes it is. A lot of times the people who are on site there didn't see it at the time, or they might have seen something at the time and they just need something to back it up.
Yeah.
Other times it's something that they need to go back and check their original footage and see if it was there on the original footage. And maybe they did catch something, but the fact that it happened over multiple episodes,
it makes you think that it's probably something with their editing software.
Yeah, it's an editing issue, I'm sure.
Yeah. Especially like I'm curious if someone could take the images and put them next to each other, if the image is in the same spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure they are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still really cool.
Yeah.
Again, it's a whole other 3 Men and a Baby thing, which is amazing, because that'll forever live on as an urban legend.
That's true. That's very true. Haunted mental hospital in Illinois is reopening, or has reopened. A supposedly haunted mental hospital opened in 1902 in central Illinois is reopened to the public again over the weekend for paranormal investigation. Peoria State Hospital, originally named the Illinois Asylum for the Incurable Insane. That has a nice ring to it. It's kind of warm and open, don't you think?
It does, and I've heard about this place.
Yeah. We'll start welcoming the public back for tours. They did actually over this past Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Paranormal investigations will also be available August 6th and August 20th. The guided tours include 3 Peoria State Hospital buildings, the Monument area, 4 cemeteries, and the Old State Mine Haunted Trail, according to the museum. Tickets are $50 per person and are available. You know what? I'm going to put up the link to this article from Channel 5 in Chicago so that you can, if you're in the Chicago area, book a tour for this, because I know a lot of our listeners like to talk about virgin territory, so to speak, when it comes to investigating, and you want to get in on a tour. As of July 12th, the Peoria State Hospital Museum started offering private tours of the asylum, which are provided on these walkthroughs. Guides can take guests to the paranormal hotspots inside the building, and the team is then left alone to explore the property for the remainder of the tour. Dr. George Zeller, an area surgeon, was known as the father of the institution and believed a new kind of institution back in the 20th century where people with mental illness could be treated humanely, according to the museum. Zeller notably took all bars off the windows, removed all forms of restraint, and began a new holistic approach to therapy, which made others consider him mad. Peoria State Hospital was considered number 1 for curing patients for 69 out of 71 operating years, the museum noted, as well as number 1 for its nursing program for 30 of its 31 active years. In 1973, the hospital closed due to a lack of funding and staffing, according to its website, though employees protested the termination. When the hospital closed its doors, 63 buildings stood on the grounds, but because a taboo surrounding the property, most were torn down, with 12 left standing. Though doctors and nurses stopped treating patients in the 70s, visitors continued to return to the grounds after paranormal activity was reported. According to Illinois Haunted Houses, the property could be haunted by Manuel A. Bookbinder, who was reportedly a patient at the hospital who worked with the burial crew. At the time of Bookbinder's funeral, Zeller allegedly said 400 staff and patients saw his ghost. The website said they even opened the coffin to confirm his body was still inside, which it was. So interestingly enough, some new territory which could potentially be explored there in Illinois.
It's funny how times have changed over the years where they thought he was a madman because he was humanely treating the mentally ill. That's just how we looked at the mentally ill back then. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we got to give them lobotomies. We got to put spikes in their heads and cut out whatever is bothering them. And he's like, no, we can do this humanely. And everyone's like, oh, you're crazy.
Yeah.
When now you look at today, it's, you know, you talk to somebody, you get put on medication. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
It's just amazing.
Yep. Last story, Bruiser. This is not safe for work. It's not safe for the children either. So here's the deal. We're going to give you a few seconds to put on the old earmuffs for the kids, lead people out of the room, put on your earphones if you're at work. You definitely don't want the employees around you to hear this, although this is something you probably don't want to do at work.
Oh, okay.
We'll lead in with that teaser for this story. I don't know how NASA decided that this was something that they should address with their employees.
So wait, this is happening at NASA? I was expecting you to go like, oh yeah, some guy at Office Depot. No, this is NASA.
If this was happening at Home Depot, we wouldn't be covering it.
But you know what I mean? Like I was just assuming it was a major like chain of something, but not NASA.
Now I'll give you a little clue, Bruce. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
That's your clue.
My mind goes to the dirtiest place that it can.
And it should. Here we go. Astronauts should not masturbate in zero gravity. This according to a NASA scientist.
Of course.
Yep. I suppose.
Because it doesn't, you can't, it just floats then. If it's a man, it just floats. And now it's floating everywhere.
That's it. Astronauts have been warned against masturbating in space over fears that female astronauts could get impregnated by stray fluids.
It's like I just picture a female astronaut then just flying around with her legs wide open naked, like just sucking it in.
Like a Hoover. Boy, you've knocked it down to simple terms there, haven't you, Bruiser?
Well, they're not allowed to have sex in space, right? Isn't that a rule?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought that was a rule. Is if you go up in space, you're not allowed to have sex.
What do you do if you're on the International Space Station?
Well, you used to masturbate, but now you can't do that.
What if you just step out of the ISS and fling one into space?
And then we get a bunch of alien human hybrids? Come on, Tim.
Well, what if you impregnate bacteria and you make super bacteria?
You get like a symbiote coming back to the Earth.
You get Venom, the redneck version. There are strict guidelines over alone time on board in zero gravity. Scientists have warned that even the slightest rogue droplet could cause chaos on board. Rogue droplet. That sounds like a handle for a top secret handle for somebody.
So there's no doing the Spider-Man up there. You just throw it because it just keeps going then, right?
Yeah, it'll travel forever.
Does it gain speed too? Like, could you murder somebody, you think?
I don't know.
Like you're on one end of the ISS and then Boris is on the other side and you just throw it? He's not knowing it?
Does it bounce off a wall? Does it jump into your mouth and off your cheek? I don't know. What does it do? I don't know.
Yeah.
The rules.
It's not hard, right?
I don't know.
It'd still be a liquid. It doesn't, right? You'd think?
Here's how the topic came up. Literally came up.
Well, the topic came up because they tried to visit the space station with the local school, and all that was floating around was a bunch of semen.
The walls were slippery. Conan O'Brien waded into the uncomfortable topic while interviewing a NASA engineer, asking him if he had ever sent porn to the International Space Station.
All right, guys, our shipment of Hustler just showed up.
No, none of that, the scientist Smythe said. Does porn work in zero gravity? It goes everywhere, Conan probed. 3 female astronauts Oh, God. 3 female astronauts can be impregnated by the same man on the same session. It finds its way, the scientist continued.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Wouldn't she see it, though?
No, because I mean, think about it for a second here. It's not just, I mean, it can break itself down into microscopic.
Oh, yeah. So they could be like individual ones flying around.
Yeah.
Because there's like millions usually when you shoot.
Yeah,
So.
it could separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just see all the female astronauts up there going, whoa, whoa, whoa.
like Neo in the Matrix doing that little bendy thing, trying to
Yep, exactly.
trying to escape the jizz. Sex and masturbation in space is a logistical nightmare, with problems ranging from floating fluids to shrinking manhoods. According to astronomer Dr. John Mills, he compared sex in space to having intercourse while skydiving.
You can't do that, I don't think.
But added, no, you can't.
How would that work?
Well, I don't think you want to try it. But added that it was not impossible.
Okay.
Presumably, cosmonauts had this in mind when Kremlin sperm scientists came knocking.
There's an actual title called a Kremlin sperm scientist?
I guess. Russian scientists...
How do you suppose he got that job? He was just really, really lonely?
I think they probably created a position. Yeah. Russian scientist Dr. Irina... What is this person's name? Dr. Irina Ogneva asked male cosmonauts to provide sperm samples back in 2019. There are no cosmonauts who want to, she revealed. Oh, I find that full of shit.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Really?
They do, too. They just don't want to do it themselves.
That's the end of the story. That's where the story ends. Sorry, comrade. Unable to squeeze one out on International Space Station.
This interview is over.
It's too uncomfortable. I can't grab and squeeze.
It's not like milking a cow, Tim. Come on.
Not going to push one out in front of comrade.
Comrade does not need to see this.
Besides, you don't send us porn.
Send us porn, we give you sperm.
I don't get Pornhub up here.
Yeah, I bet the Wi-Fi is horrible up there, huh?
Oh, probably.
Yeah, a lot of buffering.
A lot of choppiness. Yeah.
Do you think they look bigger in zero gravity?
It's hard to get my stroke on.
Because he's just spinning around in the circle?
Yeah.
Because the motions is making him spin?
Oh, I suppose you can't get, And how are you really going to, I mean, let's think about it. You get you get you and your partner, whoever you choose to get for your partner. And you're trying to, you're really trying to get nailed down so you can get some leverage.
Like you have to be strapped in to sleep, so.
Yeah. So, you can't really get
any thrust in there.
No, you can't get any leverage.
No. You can get some interesting positions, though, because there's no gravity.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I'd be afraid to come back and hit me.
You get hit with your own badge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or worse yet, you might be taking your own badge, if you know what I mean. You're just plowing away, and she says, you're going to, for safety's sake, you might have to,
yeah.
You accidentally get a taste of your own brand.
Like, what if it comes out and just goes straight up and goes up your nose?
Oh, yeah. Oh. Maybe that's why they say it's like doing it while you're skydiving, because you can't control where things are going.
Well, and in skydiving too, you only have 10 seconds.
That's more than enough for me.
I mean, I'm good at that. That's enough with cuddling for me.
Maybe that's not enough for her, but by gosh.
Hey, one of us came, right?
Okay, so what do I do with the other 8 seconds?
That's where the cuddling comes in.
I should have. Okay, now wait a minute. I should have done this. Okay, so wait. I killed my own punchline there. I should have. Oh, see, it's all over now, Bruiser. The moment's gone. I should have said.
Well, that's what they say in space.
I should have said, okay, so what do I do with the other 8 seconds? Wait, no. I
He did it.
there
He
you
did
go.
it
I
again.
did it again. What should I do with the other 8 seconds? There you go.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. The other 8 seconds. Or the other 8 seconds.
So that's gonna suck when we finally like start living in space.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And okay, well, here's another reason why I think they're not allowing it. How many astronauts are usually on a space station? At least 4, right?
Although, you know what? That's going to make episodes of Maury more exciting.
It will be. But let's say there's four astronauts up there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say 5. 4 men and a woman.
Okay.
How much jizz do you want to swim through in zero gravity?
I'm sorry, you can get past the first part of that sentence. Do that again. Okay, wait a minute.
How much jizz do you want to swim past in zero gravity? 4 men could produce a lot.
That's true.
You know,
It'd be a whiteout. That's like Mountain Dew whiteout right there. That's like there you go.
What if you have a vasectomy? Is it okay then?
I guess.
There's so many questions I have for NASA.
This really is a Maury topic.
This is.
It's too bad he's retiring.
I'm surprised there's no porn director going out there going, hey, we have a new subgenre of porn we can throw. Zero gravity porn.
The ISS porn. You know what the first movie will be called?
Deep Space?
Nope.
Deep Space 9?
Deep Space 69?
There you go.
Or Roll in the Bay. I'm telling you, I need to switch careers.
You do.
I'm just saying, maybe there's some people who would enjoy it if I switch careers.
Yeah.
But yeah, Deep Space 69 or Roll in the Bay. Yep.
They can't hear you scream in space.
Well, or can they? Yeah. Fletch. Yeah.
That's the whole meaning they got to catch them all, right?
That's right. Gotta catch them all. I think that'll do it for this week.
Yep.
I think we've done enough damage.
We've crossed the bridge.
You know, with all the stuff NASA
we
has
literally
to
went
do.
where no man's gone before, haven't we?
With all the stuff NASA has to do in a week, what made them go, you know what? Guys, lay off it.
Do you know what the worst part probably is? On re-entry and you get gravity again, it all just drops.
Upon re-entry, Bukkake.
We apologize.
Yeah.
End the show quickly, Tim. End the show.
Okay. On tomorrow's show, we talk about how the men finally get a face full coming into re-entry in NASA. No, I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow. No, on tomorrow's show, actually, we're talking Amelia Earhart on tomorrow's show.
All right.
And why you may or may not know what exactly happened to Amelia Earhart.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we've got some interesting theories that we're going to throw around with our guest tomorrow. So our guest tomorrow is Chris Williamson, and the book is called Rabbit Hole, The Vanishing of Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan. And in that book, we go through things such as 1,000 Ways to Die in the Sky, why Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan may have died up there in the sky, why they may have died on that desert island, and why they might not have died at all. Yeah. And why they may have made it back to the mainland. We'll tell you about all the different types of theories that Chris has. And he actually lays it out in this book like a court briefing or like a court case.
Okay. So he presents facts and stuff like that.
Yes, he presents his case in this book. It's really interesting. This entire book is as to why he makes the case for both Fred Noonan and Amelia Earhart, and why they could have potentially survived this particular flight, and why they might not have. It really dips into the conspiracy of Amelia Earhart. So I found this book fascinating. I wanted to bring it to our audience. And, a lot of times over the years, we've gone into Amelia Earhart and what potentially could have happened. And just when you think everything's been exhausted with Amelia Earhart, along comes this book and really does kind of peel back the layers of what could have potentially happened to both these people. So that's tomorrow on the program. It'll be an exciting discussion as to what exactly happened with the legend of Amelia Earhart. So that's on tomorrow's program right here on Darkness Radio. So looking forward to that. Want to thank everybody for tuning in week after week and supporting the program. Bruiser and I can't tell you how much we appreciate you. I also want to extend the gratitude from Mally Fox and Jessica Freeberg as well. You guys are so great. I want to thank you so much for supporting our sponsors as well. We've gotten great feedback from Microdose. We've gotten great feedback from BetterHelp. Also, we have coming up soon in August, HelloFresh is coming on board. We've gotten some great feedback from Audio Boom as well. The folks from Audio Boom couldn't be more pleased with you guys that you're tuning in en masse and in force to listen to the program. And just overall good vibes, good feelings from you guys. In that we're so pleased to be here for you and provide. Hey, and there's Iggy Starbuck too, saying hi as well. Really, when we set out to and when I said everything old was going to be new again, and when we put everything together with the show, and kind of a relaunch of sorts. I really did want it to feel like everything old was new again. And I really do feel like we've got that feeling back, which is good. So again, I want you guys to keep sending in your Parashares, tim@darknessradio.com. If you have, the one thing I want to do for Tuesdays, Bruiser. Yes. If you guys have had a run-in with a serial killer and didn't know at the time that you had that run-in with a serial killer, send it to tim@darknessradio.com. I knew a serial killer. I want you to send in those run-ins with a serial killer. Like you just a narrow escape, or you know what? I happen to know this person who later was arrested as a serial killer, or here was my run-in, or my brush with fate or fame, or however you want to put it.
I have to talk to my buddy who his grandparents were babysat by Ed Gein.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Ed Gein was his grandparents' babysitter.
Most definitely. But get those stories in as well. But we want to hear your Parashare stories. I knew a serial killer stories. We want to keep getting those stories from you. We love airing your Parashare stories and getting those stories from you. We want to get the I knew a serial killer stories from you. We want to get stories from you. Sorry, I got the hiccups here. Want to get those stories from you and get more of you on the air. That's the idea. We want to get more of you on the air. I'm still working on getting a phone number so that we can get your audio on the air as well, because we want to do that as well in the upcoming weeks. Got some exciting stuff coming on coming up here in the next few weeks as well. We'll have more giveaways coming as well in the next few weeks. And we want to start getting you some more stuff, some more free stuff. So that's coming as well in the next few weeks. So that's about it. That'll do it for today's show. Again, Chris Williamson tomorrow and Amelia Earhart. We'll be talking about the different ways that Amelia Earhart could have potentially survived the cross-Atlantic flight. That's tomorrow, right here on the Best in Paranormal Podcasting. For Beer City Bruiser, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us for today's edition of Darkness Radio.